Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening, Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Good evening. Today is Tuesday, April 19th, 2022 for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and the UnX Networks. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? Tonight, we have very special guest. Billy Carson is with us for The Secrets of Egypt. Tomorrow night, Caroline Corey is with us to talk about her new film, A Tear in the Sky, and the science behind all of this. That is tomorrow night with Caroline Corey. And this Thursday is another Fader night with open lines all night long. Now, coming up, I will be speaking at the X Conference, May 13th and 14th, 2022. I will be speaking on Friday night. This is an online event. Full info at unxnetwork.com. I'll be hosting Disclosure Fest, June 18th, 2022, from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. One-day event at the Los Angeles Historic Park in downtown Los Angeles, California. Go to disclosurefest.org. I will be in Egypt with our guest tonight, Billy Carson, this October. Space is very limited. I want you to visit forbiddenknowledge.com now for complete schedule and info. Links for everything is in the description box below right there on YouTube. It's on our social media and, of course, over on our website. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can do that right now. I've got Twitter always live to my right. The feed is right here. The sandbox on Twitter is hashtag F2B. You can go and see what all the Fadernauts are doing right there. And any questions or comments on the show tonight, please use hashtag F2BQ. Let's get straight to the breaking news. On October 4th, 2022, M.I.T, M-E-T-I, International Scientists will transmit powerful radio messages to TRAPPIST-1, a star system known to be orbited by at least 3 potentially habitable exoplanets in a project called Stihia Beyond. Transmissions will take place from Goonhilly Earth Station, home of the world's first commercial deep space network, located right there in southern England. The messages will include music and scientific tutorials. All of this going down on October 4th, 2022. I'll put up the links in social media a little bit later. Now, the news started to break about this a couple of weeks ago, and I've got some updates, and this is pretty crazy. 2 immense swarms of sunspots have popped into view on the surface of the sun, hinting at increased possibilities of vivid auroras and potentially damaging solar flares over the months to come. Now, some of the sunspots are so gigantic that they could swallow our Earth whole. Known as active regions 2993 and 2994, or AR 2993 and AR 2994. The new sunspot groups seem to be followed by a third sunspot group still hidden behind the sun's northeastern limb, or its edge that appears to have caused a powerful solar flare that missed the Earth a few days ago. It was a near miss and could have been catastrophic. We have a lot of near misses. One day, right? One day we're going to get slammed. And now, do you remember? Do you remember? It was probably 30 years ago. There was a renaming of Uranus. Right? The correct pronunciation is Uranus now, right? Everybody says Uranus. And the Uranus jokes, right? And I didn't get it when I was a kid, but nonetheless, we all adapted to it. It's Uranus now. And then this was the headline today on MSN. And quote, probing Uranus is a top priority this decade, U.S. science advisors say, end quote. Now, you can say Uranus. I see probing Uranus. That's what I say. I know my mind, right? Now, listen to what this is. I'm not making any of this up. This is directly from the press release. You ready? A new report covering the next 10 years of American planetary science and astrobiology concludes that a Uranus orbiter and probe should be the highest priority large mission. The decadal survey from the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine is intended to shape funding and research efforts through 2032. It calls for spacecraft that will orbit Uranus and map its gravitational and magnetic fields. The orbiter would circle Uranus for several years and deliver an atmospheric probe into the planet's hydrogen sulfide-rich atmosphere. The main goals should be to investigate the composition and structure of Uranus, how its internal heat moves to the surface, specifics of its ring system, and close-up observations. Yeah. Who is writing this stuff? They've got to be laughing. It's an inside joke. It has to be. But it was funny to read today on MSN. All right. NASA's Space Launch System rocket is heading back to the assembly building for repairs next week, pushing the earliest possible launch date for its uncrewed test flight to the moon to later this summer. Since April 1st, the agency has been unsuccessfully attempting a key wet dress rehearsal. That test involves loading liquid propellant. The procedure is meant as a run-through of launch operations, including a final countdown to within 10 seconds before blastoff, but without actually firing the engines. But NASA has encountered several hitches, including a leak of flammable liquid hydrogen, a faulty valve, and running low on their supply of nitrogen that is used to purge oxygen from the rocket. Big problems. They're looking at about a month delay that might push the launch to the moon sometime in August. Now, a federal judge who struck down the mask mandate for airplanes and other public transport methods happened yesterday. TSA announced today that masks are indeed over. That includes Delta Airlines, American Airlines, United Airlines, Southwest Airlines, Alaska Airlines, Spirit, and JetBlue all say that masks are now optional. Amtrak also dropped a mandate for all of its national train service. And just before showtime tonight, the Justice Department said that they will appeal if the CDC wants them to. No appeal yet. They're putting it on the CDC. We'll see what happens tomorrow. All of this just 1 week before the mask mandate was set to expire anyway. Doesn't make any sense. And can you imagine The outrage. Once you tell everybody it's over, the mask mandate, and then you're going to turn around and go, you've got to do this for at least another week. No, that's not going to go down. It's not going to go down well, I should say. Let's get this show cracking. On this day in history, OTD, in 1995, just after 9 a.m., a massive truck bomb explodes outside the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Here's your fader fact. You ready? Under German law, this is a fact, this is vetted. Under German law, self-driving cars must be programmed to avoid human death at all costs. This means the car is allowed to destroy property, accelerate beyond legal speed limits, and hit animals, all to avoid hitting a human. And that is your fader fact. Have you ever thought about, this is my dark mind, have you ever thought about a police chase? What would happen with a self-driving car in a police chase? Right? What would happen? Can you override the system? I'm just saying, what would happen in a police chase? I'm putting that out there. Tonight, very special guest Billy Carson is with us for the Secrets of Egypt. Tomorrow night, Caroline Corey is here. We're going to be talking about her new film, A Tear in the Sky. Tomorrow night, we'll play, right, with this new format of ours. I'll play you the trailer. Yeah, we'll watch that tomorrow night. And Thursday is another fader night with open lines all night long. We've got this new video format going on here. I've had to move the phone lines over to this computer, which is behind this microphone, and it's going to sit over here. I won't be able to grab this mouse, so the mouse has got to move over here, and then I'm going to have to peer through the shock mount on the microphone. But we'll get through it. And that's Thursday night, fader night, open lines all night long. All right. Now it's time for me to hit this River Moon Coffee. All of the links for our sponsors and all of my events and everything else are right below us if you're on YouTube. I've got it up in social media, and you can certainly go visit jimmychurchradio.com. All of our sponsors are right there, including River Moon Coffee. rivermoonwellness.com. Fade to Black blend. Man, that's good coffee. That's the best coffee in the world. Get yours now. Promo code F2B blend. 15% off of your order today. All right. Man, I'm in a good mood. There was reports, and I read, a couple of things before I get to what I want to talk about. A pink moon over the last 3 days, and it was heavily overcast here. I only had one clear night, and it didn't look pink to me. So did you guys see the pink moon? And was it indeed pink? And I think we're already past it now. So, and it's still overcast here. I've had 0 stars. I've had 0 anything. But this morning, I wanted to share this with you. I've never seen this. I've got lizards. I live in the desert. I've got lizards, and the lizards and I are like friends now. It's pretty strange. They avoided me, but over the last month or two, I don't know if it's the same lizard. There's got to be dozens, right? But they just walk right past me now. I can stand up. They don't run, and so this morning I'm drinking coffee. I'm on the back patio. It's pretty early. And my bro, the lizard, just comes walking right past me. It just stops. We looked at each other for a few. Anyway, he walks past, and this is what happens. And he's standing right here to my left, just a few feet away. And those giant gnats that look like giant mosquitoes, right? Those gnats, they're about this big. And this gnat flies right by my face, kind kind of cruises down low to the ground and approaches the lizard. And I just happened to glance. The lizard jumped a foot in the air and swallowed this gnat. I've never seen nature. Yeah, I was like, dude. I watched him swallow. It was the craziest. And he just kind of walked away. And I thought, man, that was cool. That's nature. All right. Rivermoonwellness.com. I didn't want to forget the lizard story. I've never seen it. Dude jumped too. And the gnat, just living life, he's not, and all of a sudden over just like that. All right. What is it about Egypt? And I know it's one of my favorite things to talk about, but why? What is it? What is it about Egypt? Back in the roaring 20s here in the United States and around the world, everything was about Egypt. The fashion, the clothes, architecture, furniture, right? The world saw the art and image of Egypt, and it was completely drawn to it. Why? I have Egyptian art in my home. I have paintings. I have sculpture, right? And when you look at it, it's hard to believe that most of it was created like 4,000 years ago. There's a tremendous mystery behind ancient Egypt. But the whole thing just doesn't seem real. But there it is, right? We can see it today. It's there. We know the history. And that is the mystery that has grabbed the world for millennia. Up to the 1920s and all the way through to today. Egypt is so old that even today, with all of our vast knowledge of history, we don't have a concept of its ancient history. We don't. I mean, when Plato visited Egypt in 400 BC, almost 2,500 years ago, Egypt was already ancient. Cleopatra, who was also Greek, when Plato was there, she didn't even show up for another, wait for it, 400 years. Plato had heard stories about this ancient land with its vast temples, its pyramids, its math and its science, its culture. And he decided to see it for himself. So he went and he ended up staying for 13 years. Plato wrote that the Egyptian Thoth, and I'm quoting Plato here, he said, Thoth invented numbers and arithmetic. And most important of all, Thoth invented letters, end quote. One Egyptian figure often considered as an early philosopher is Ptahhotep. Ptahhotep is known for his comprehensive work on ethics and philosophy. It's called the Maxims of Ptahhotep. Now, the work, which was compiled by his grandson, is a series of 37 letters written in 2500 BC. Now, when we think of philosophy, we usually think Greek. I know I do, right? But not the Greeks. Nope. Because most of the ancient Greek philosophers regarded Egypt as the place where wisdom and philosophy were created. That's right. Now, according to Isocrates, it was Pythagoras who, after visiting Egypt, and I'm quoting Isocrates right now, Isocrates said, it was Pythagoras who was first to bring the Greeks all the philosophy from Egypt, end quote. That's right. Ptahhotep did it 2,000 years before Pythagoras set foot on Egyptian soil. That's how old Egypt is. Some ancient writers claim that Pythagoras even learned geometry from the Egyptians. Right? Pythagoras. Pythagorean theorem. He got it from the Egyptians. Plato said it was Thoth. That's how old Egypt is. You see, in my opinion, if you think about how long everything was established and these thought processes were put together in science and math and philosophy, that is why ancient Egyptian art and design is so amazing to us today. That's because by 1500 BC, which is what many believe was the peak of Egyptian culture, that was 1500 BC. They already had been studying and living philosophy, art, science, and math for over 1,000 years. The United States is barely 250 years old. 250. Egypt was doing it before anything for over 1,000 years, which was 1,500 years before Plato. Think about it. It boggles the mind. They had another 1,000 years to perfect things before Plato even arrived to see what was going on. This is the mystery of Egypt. And none of it makes any sense. It doesn't make any sense, which is why it is so easy for somebody today, like myself, like you, to theorize that maybe there was something else going on. We've got a lot of it. We've got the libraries of Alexandria. We've got the mystery schools. We have Hermeticism. We have magic. We have the stars. We have the gods. It sure seemed that they got some help from someone, from somewhere. And I think that today we all understand this because none of it, again, makes any sense. Now, if we stop and we look at the math, let's think about this for a second. 2,000 years, listen to me, 2,000 years before ancient Greece, 2,000 years before ancient Rome. And I'm talking about when ancient Rome was a bunch of mud huts on the side of a hill. The Egyptians were building pyramids. It's so funny when I hear a historian, bring up Mesopotamia, right? Oh, Mesopotamia, man, they've laws, then justice, then cities, then agriculture, right? They bring it all up. And although old, and they did some cool things there, there's no doubt about it. But it ain't Egypt. It's not even close. The last time I checked, there weren't anybody sporting ancient tigress fashion back in 1920. I'm just saying, right? Back in 1920, they weren't displaying Sumerian tablets on the wall, right? This is a ziggurat. Oh, it is? Who? No, pyramids, right? It's just the way it is. And they never did it, which is my point. Egypt was magical. It was the real deal. So much, though, that its art and philosophy is going to stay with us forever. Egypt is timeless. And I think that every Egyptian knew this 5,000 years ago. They knew this. Everything was preserved. Everything was built to last, right? Just ask Plato. Seriously. And if you think about it, King Tut, that golden sarcophagus, the wonderment, right? They did that tomb 70 times. That's how incredible Egypt is. You go and watch, I just finished Death on the Nile, the new version of it. And by the way, it's kind of been panned. No, it's an excellent film. Go and check it out, Agatha Christie. It's great. It's well done. But check it out. And it's a period piece. And when you see the boat that they're on going up the Nile, and they stop at a couple of spots and they're checking things out, think about that. Go. That is what the 1920s were. That's what Egypt is about. And then you go and watch a film like, which I love, The Gods of Egypt. Right? Watch it. That is real. That is what was going down in Egypt back then. Now, I'm not saying that Ra was towing the sun around the earth on chains. I'm not saying that. But that's it. That's where they were at. That's what they were writing about. That's what they believed. So the foundations of philosophy that we use today, it's ancient Egypt, 2,000 years before Plato, Socrates. Think about all of that. And tonight, having Billy Carson here to talk about the secrets of Egypt is very important to me. And Billy and I, yes, are going to be in Egypt this October. And I invite all of you to come and go if you can make the trip with us. But I started thinking about this today leading up to the show, which is this. I'm 58. I'm 58 years old. I probably have bought my last car, right? I've probably moved into the last house. I have probably, right? I'm starting to look at life and what is important to me now. What is important to me is learning and history and getting out there and traveling and seeing the world. Yeah, this show is still going to continue. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying what's important to me now. I want to be Plato. I want to go somewhere and discover what the ancients knew. And we're going to do that tonight with Billy Carson. I am your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. What a great week on the show. Tonight, Billy. Tomorrow night, Caroline Corey is with us. And then, of course, Thursday night is Fader night with open lines all night long. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer and UnX Networks. I am your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back after this short break with our guest, Billy Carson. Stay with us.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net.
Introducing the Game Changer blend from Rivermoon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all Rivermoon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Do you have an interest in the paranormal? Then you'll love the unxnetwork.com. The X is your streaming audio and video for everything supernatural, strange, and mysterious, like UFOs, Bigfoot, ghosts, and so much more. From hosts like Jimmy Church, Whitley Strieber, Micah Hanks, and Christina Gomez. Visit the unxnetwork.com show page for a complete list of all the paranormal programs you'll find on the X. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for updates at KUNXDB. Follow our Facebook group, UNX Network. Find the podcast on Spotify, iHeart, Audible, and Apple Podcast. It's time.
It's new.
It's the X.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Amenti, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Billy Carson is with us. We're going to be talking tonight about the secrets of Egypt. Billy's Forbidden Knowledge has millions of followers and subscribers throughout social media. He's also the founder of Forbidden Knowledge, Inc., and is the best-selling author of the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets and Woke Doesn't Mean Broke. Mr. Carson is also the CEO of First Class Space Agency based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. His space agency is involved in research and development of alternative propulsion systems and zero-point energy devices. He's also the founder of Pantheon Elite Records, a contributor to Thrive Global, and is a registered international journalist. Recently, he earned a certificate of science with an emphasis on neuroscience at MIT, and rumor has it that soon he may join the Bar Association, and I don't know what's going on with that, but I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, Billy Carson. Billy, what's going on, man? A lawyer?
There we go. Yes. I'm a lawyer. I'm going to be, not yet, but I will be. I'm studying. I'm in my final stage of studying bar exam review.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, well, now I know who I'm going to call.
Yes.
It's really that simple. Is this going to be in Florida? Are you going to California, or is it going to be in Florida?
The Florida bar. Yeah, the Florida bar. It just makes sense for me to become an attorney since I have so many businesses. Instead of it just makes sense for two reasons. One is for my businesses and family. So the business side is you can build your own company for your own billable attorney hours as a business attorney and do it yourself. And you can charge yourself a whole lot less money, okay? And then still write off the what you did spend on the attorney's fees on your taxes, as well as every family needs a good family attorney, and somebody has to do it, so it's got to be me.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. There you go. I mean, it's so funny with everything that you and I have done together over the years, and I think to myself, how does Billy have the time? And are we actually going to do this? And is it going to happen? Well, everything that you have ever said to me, you followed through on. And I just don't know how you find the time. And it's just incredible to me. That includes both books and the movie and the TV network and the events that we have done together, and including like Egypt, which is coming up this October. I just don't know how you find the time. Let's just strut right into let's just strut right into it tonight, Billy. Egypt to me is one of the most fascinating subjects, not places. It's just a subject. It's a thing. And I have done nothing but research, and I find out something new every single day. Yeah. And you have been there many times. We'll be there together this October. But what is it that first attracted you to Egypt? I want you to go on the way back machine here, and think about this. What first drew you to Egypt?
I'll tell you. So my first trip that I ever took in my life out of the country to go look at an ancient site was 25 years ago now, and that was to the Yucatan Peninsula, to the pyramids at Chichen Itza.
Right.
And while I was down there, I was trying to see if I would have enough time and money at that time to get over to Teotihuacan to see that pyramid complex. And I was researching it, and I discovered that it had a special alignment with the Orion, the same as the ones that Giza did. And I was like blown away. And I was like, I gotta get to Egypt to see these pyramids. And what fueled it even more was I found an old photograph of my grandfather working, doing refurbishing of the Great Pyramid and the Great Sphinx.
Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have that picture? Can I see it?
I don't have it here. I'm going to get it from my grandmother's house. He passed away and she passed away, so the house is just sitting there. But I'm going to go up there and get a lot of photos of him working with NASA and all kind of stuff. So because I'm working on a whole little documentary miniseries about my life and my family life, so I'll have those in there. But I'll have them soon. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah, cool stuff.
So so the alignment with Orion, that is special.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say something personal about, because it's about you tonight. It's not about me. But Orion freaks me out. Yeah. And ever since Robert Bauval's excellent research into the subject, I go out and look up at the sky. I look at Orion's belt, and I don't see stars. I see Giza. Right? That's, right? It's such a part of me now.
Yeah.
And it is something that I used to think was a reach. I look at it now because Orion is so important to me. It's right there. And you can just look up and see it. And now I get it. I see the Giza Plateau.
Yeah. It's a mirror of the Giza Plateau in the sky. Is what it is. When we mirrored it from Earth. And Orion is really special because Orion, really, the ancient term for it is Osiris. And it goes all the way back to the secret Assyrian mysteries and the very first mystery schools that were taught by Osiris in super ancient Egypt when it was called the land of Chem.
Now, I know that you must have, I would like to ask you this. You must have some special places. You've been to Egypt so many times.
Yeah.
Where for you want to go revisit and you want to go check it out. So when you're by yourself or, whatever, and you think about Egypt, what comes to your mind first?
Well, really, it's all the underground channels that go underneath the sand at Giza and even in other areas that lead to all different parts of the world. You can go from Egypt is in Africa. You can go from Africa into the Middle East underground, undetected, with some of these underground tunnels and tubes that are underground that extend out for miles. Then a satellite recently took some ground penetrating radar from space. And so there were even hundreds more pyramids buried in the sand. So I just think about this amazing, phenomenal civilization that existed there and the beauty and the splendor of it and how people just kept building on top of what was there before, over time. And it just blows me away, man, how incredible the history has been in the past that is literally buried in sand.
Why doesn't, you should be able to do this soon if you keep selling stock in Forbidden Knowledge. But why doesn't somebody or an institution or a country do the investment to go in and vacuum the sand out? Right? I mean, just remove, because that there must be mysteries buried in that sand that are mind-blowing.
Yeah, you can submit a request to the government and to the Board of Antiquities and pay a fee, usually about a year or two in advance, sometimes 3 years it takes for this stuff to get approved, to do a small area where you're looking for particular things based on a hypothesis or whatever, or ancient records. But to be able to really do a mass thing like that, you probably have to walk and pay the president off with maybe, $100 million.
Right.
With that kind of funding. It's all over there. It's all corrupt. It's all about money. I mean, even when you're on tour, you got to keep stopping and paying off military officers so they'll let you through to certain areas because everybody's on the take. But if you go there with $100 million and pay the right person, they'll give you the approval to dig, where you want.
What's up with the, I want to talk about secrets of Egypt, and this is a modern secret to me. Yeah. What's up with the NASA hangar out there just south of the Giza Plateau?
Listen, there's a lot of NASA stuff out there, okay? This is some crazy stuff, man. I mean, out in the middle of nowhere, there's one that looks like it's about 200 or 300 acres in size. I'm sorry, not acres. I'm sorry, yards, 200 or 300 yards in size. And it's way out there, way out there. And you can just see the NASA, the logo on the side of the building. And like I said before, the driver told me they were making aluminum for them. I was like, okay, yeah, they're making aluminum. Is that what they told you guys? And NASA, not this last trip I went, but one before that, I was told by the guide who was talking to a military officer and also one of the pyramid priests that NASA had just taken control of the access to the King's Chamber inside the Great Pyramid, and that they now own access to it. And at one time, at some point in the future, they might, if they so choose, cut off access to the King's Chamber. And I'm like, how can NASA own this?
Right. And now I'm imagining, I don't know if this is possible, but let's say you and I are sitting we've got our two buses, right? We're driving. Mm-hmm. You and I are in the front seat, and we got our driver right there. Mm-hmm. And then you go, Jimmy, there's the NASA hangar. It's right over there. And really, is it possible? Can I divert the bus? Can we drive out to that NASA hangar?
No, you can't. Unfortunately, yeah, you can't. First of all, you're looking about 3 or 4 miles off the road because you have probably, or maybe a little bit more than 3 or 4, because we're actually elevated up about another. So we're probably up about 10 feet in the bus. So we can probably see that about close to 4.5, 5 miles out. And it's way out there, close to the horizon point. So it would take us another 4 to 5 miles that way. And then, so we're talking about going 10 miles out of our way in the middle of a desert where you don't even want to get a flat tire out there.
Right. So Billy, how do we pull this off? Do we rent a couple of Range Rovers? Do we get some camels? How can you and I go out to that NASA hangar and take a close look at it?
I think we'd have to go on a separate trip. Like maybe when I go again in 2023, we'd have to, schedule, because this one is so tight. Everything is like so pinpoint precision tight, every single destination we have to go to. But when we go again in 2023, we could probably set aside, a day to do that. So it's about 3 or 4 hours out in the middle of the desert. Then you got to get out there. So, you're talking about a whole full day, 8, 9 hours of just trying to.
But here's, we could really shoot some amazing footage of us getting arrested, right? And we could have our Egyptian mug shots, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you don't want to get locked up in Egypt, man. They're going to hold us for ransom. Okay. When they Google your name and Google my name, it's over.
Yeah. But it would be at the NASA complex. No. Yeah, that would. But I really want to know what is NASA doing in the middle of the Sahara Desert next to the Giza complex? That doesn't make any. They're not launching rockets out there.
No, they have so many weird ties to ancient sites. So they have a location down there where the Native Americans or Indigenous Americans have their land in the Grand Canyon. They now own a part of that, and you can't get access. I tried to get on that land. I wanted to go see if there was these remnants of ancient artifacts or carvings in the
cave system. Right.
I took a helicopter down into the bottom of the Grand Canyon, got out and started walking. You can't go in there. And then they also, I believe it's Chaco Canyon, they've got some rights to those what looked like used to be maybe ancient dome structures down there. Now they're just circles. But they have the rights to that stuff too. So they're really tapped into all these ancient sites and all these energetic places on the planet for some specific reason.
Well, and the good news is when we're out at the NASA hangar and we get arrested, they're going to say, "Do you have an attorney?" I'm going to say, "He's right here." I got my attorney right here.
I'll represent. Yeah. Oh man!
But this adds to the mystery of Egypt. I mean, what is going on with that? Now, next question. I don't know if you've seen this, but William Henry sent me a picture of him next to a Stargate. It's a tourist thing, but they've got the Stargate out there. Have you seen that? And can we go see this? It's a tourist thing. It's not the real Stargate, but do you know where that is?
I don't know, but our guides will definitely take us right to it with no problem.
Right.
Yeah, we've got a homegrown guide and an Egyptologist with us, so they'll be able to find it and take us there right away. Yeah.
You and I got to take some pictures there. It's pretty incredible. It's straight out of the movie, but it looks great. I just don't remember the site that it was on. Okay, now I spoke at the beginning of the show today about the age of ancient Egypt, and we don't have people here. It's too much a popular culture now, where the real age of what we are talking about, we don't have the concept of it. When we say 5,000 years ago, it's 5,000 years at least. And philosophy, when Plato got there at 400 BC, and he lived there for 13 years, he and Pythagoras, they take philosophy back to Greece. We think philosophy is a Greek thing.
No.
It was already established for 2,000 years in Egypt, going back, and some of the quotes coming from the different Greek philosophers, and they went there one after another to check things out. Give credit where credit is due to math, science, alphabet, and of course philosophy, all to the ancient Egyptians, where the first writings of philosophy and ethics dated back to 2500 BC. Cleopatra didn't even happen for another 2,500 years. Right? Isn't that? Does that add to the mystery of Egypt?
Listen, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling because if you look at some of the texts that reference Egypt being far older, and you look at the age of the stone, and you look at the weathering patterns, you realize that even 5,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago, 2,500 BC, you're still talking about handed down knowledge from even a deeper antiquity. And so the knowledge is super duper ancient. All the philosophy, the mathematics, the reason why the reason why we have the word chemistry and alchemy, it comes from the land of Chem, which is what Egypt was called before the dynastic era. And so we're talking about chemistry and alchemy come out of ancient Egypt. All the philosophy, the mystery schools, the teachings of astrology, astronomy, all that stuff comes out of this area, deep antiquity, and it was just handed down from generation to generation, ruler after ruler, and finally eventually got to the Greeks and Romans. But man, by that time it was already super ancient, in my opinion. So we're talking about a real ancient knowledge.
Now let's talk about Thoth for a second, because I want to push things way back. There, depending on how you want to approach the history of ancient Egypt, Thoth was either a god or a demigod. Thoth was could have been a real person. Thoth was just another Egyptian citizen that was smart and invented things. But for you, when we talk about Thoth, and of course you wrote the Emerald Tablets, but how old are the origins of Thoth? How far back are we pushing this?
They go back super ancient, and some people try to debate it with stories of grandeur on how it can't be. But I'm telling you right now, if you really study these tablets and look into the history of the people that these tablets passed through their hands, you find that these tablets are estimated to be around 36,000 years old. The Emerald Tablets, plural, not the singular tablet, not the tablet of Hermes, which is at Cambridge library in England, but the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, which he also authored one out of many hundreds of tablets that he authored, they're around 36,000 years old, and they perfectly align with him building the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx, which, if you go back, if you believe John Henry's assumption, which I do, you're talking about 2 processional periods behind where we are now. You're talking about 36,000 years. The Sphinx aligns with the constellation of Leo around the same age of the tablets and around the same time that Thoth claims to have built the Great Pyramid. So I think it all aligns, and I think that we're talking about super antiquity. And according to the Egyptians, he ruled prior to that for 14,000 years. One person ruled over the land of Kem for 14,000 years.
Now, how when we say things like this, and it reminds me of some of the text in the Bible in the Old Testament, where we hear these extraordinary ages of different people in the Bible. But when we hear something like this, how is it possible for Thoth to have ruled for 14,000 years? Was he physical 14,000 years old?
I believe that he was. A lot of people try to say, maybe these people were multidimensional, or they were spiritual, or they were ethereal. I think these are I always think we're talking about flesh and blood people that put their pants on one leg at a time, just like we do. Right. And when you read the accounts of them, they're interacting with humans in a way that only a human can interact with a human in a way, in flesh, sex and drinking and hanging out and partying and all kind of crazy stuff. These were people, man. These were real flesh and blood people that just had more knowledge. That's why I don't call them aliens. I call them advanced beings, is what they were. And this gentleman can be found all over the planet. I've been around this planet, as you know, and everywhere I go, there's Thoth or a representation of him in some scripture, some text etched into the ground. He's in the middle of the outback in Australia, etched into the doggone solid dry rock bed for thousands of years. The Aboriginals call him Thoth Amabi, okay? And he's on the back of what they call a spaceship flying through the Milky Way. This is incredible stuff.
Now, how did he live for 14,000 years? Was there a technology involved, or was that just a natural lifespan?
Yeah, technology. He claims to have had rejuvenation chambers in something he called the halls of Amenti. And it seems as if there were multiple halls of Amenti. He had some, his father had some, and I'm assuming that some of these elite gods or quote unquote high advanced beings had their own little section where they had their pods that they would get into and rejuvenate bodies. He claims to have bodies that he would put into a chamber, and then he would transfer his consciousness into that body and then get up out of that chamber, and he would walk amongst men, but unlike a man. So he didn't steal other people's bodies. He had his own sleeves, basically. And over many millennia, he's known by many, many names. He's known as in Africa as Thoth, Tahuti, Jehudi. You go into China, he's Wang Di. You go into the Mesoamerica, he's Kukulkan, Lord Pakal, Viracocha. I mean, the names just go on and on and on, but it's the same person over many, many different eras of time. But he had these rejuvenation chambers, which they found these halls, it's in my book, underneath the Great Pyramid of Giza, leading out across the desert about a mile, hundreds of halls, but there's nothing in them anymore. Those were empty. But there's another area where there's some halls where we're going to take the people that come with us to Egypt, which I believe was his father's halls of Amenti at Saqqara.
Now, the okay. You get injured, right? You get your arm cut off. You get a cut, whatever. Could he regrow limbs? I'm not trying to be cavalier here.
Oh, no, yeah. No, he was never specific about that. He just said that once a body began to wear down, he would put it into a rejuvenation chamber. He would let that body sit in there for he would do it for 1 year, and then he would in between though there would be, let me see how he did. He did 1 times 10, so we did 10,000 years in rejuvenation chambers. But you have to add the 100 years in between in which he was walking around in the body. So when you add that to the 10,000, all of a sudden you're at 100,000 years.
Right.
The numbers are insane. if you really analyze the math. The numbers are insane. However, if you look, and I cover this in my book, look at 2 projects going on right now in our current era that match exactly what Thoth is claimed to have done back then. We have the DARPA Avatar project in America with the military we have here, where they have now already taken military soldiers and created a symbiotic link with a field robot. And the soldier can literally operate the field robot by thought, conscious thought. And when the robot gets blown up, the only thing that happens is the sync is severed. The link is severed. And then you have the other project, 2045, coming out of Russia, and it's 2045.com, 2045.com. And it's Ray Kurzweil's funding that project. The first one was already accomplished, the first level of the project, which was where they took a monkey's brain and transferred it into a computer. The monkey's body gone, dead. The monkey still thinks it's alive. This is old. They did this years ago. It's eating bananas, climbing trees. It's in a computer.
Mm-hmm.
Then by 2015, they were supposed to have transferred human consciousness into a robot, which they've already done. And 2045, the ultimate goal is to take stem cells from a person's body. We'll take a skin cell from a person's body, take the skin cell, put it into a culture, convert the skin cell into stem cells, which we now actually can do. They talked about it before it was even done. Now it's already done. You can convert a skin cell from your own body into stem cells, culture it, let it grow, and then turn that into a clone of your body to the age you specify, and then transfer your consciousness into that new clone of your own self using your own cells. And the only thing that was holding us back was storage space. And now with DNA hard drives, it's a piece of cake. So I believe they're definitely going to achieve that goal before 2045.
And just, I want everybody to know, I've seen his driver's license. Billy is 145 years old. So Billy's got the technology. Billy, let's take a break right here. And you see, the thing is, and especially with stem cells, let's regrow teeth.
Yeah.
Right. Or, you know what? That's the way that people look at things. Okay, that sounds cool, but can I regrow teeth? Can I, you know what I mean? Can I grow another eye? I think that we're close to that. And it's a pretty frightening thought. Let's take our break right here. Our guest tonight, the one and only Billy Carson, is with us all night tonight. It is The Secrets of Egypt. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. More with Billy after this short break. This is Fade to Black on the NX and Game Changer Networks. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, the X.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is the fastest growing and one of the most watched networks in the world. I would like to personally invite you to check out our expanding library of TV, film, lectures, and special presentations. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv has over 6,000 videos covering lost history, health, UFOs, spirituality, and our future. We are committed to our community, and with my personal invitation, you can, right now, get your free 30-day membership at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Your own library of information starts today at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
Because you never got that pony you always wanted. Damn it. Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer. Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com.
Hi, Race Hobbs with the X. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you have an interest in unexplained phenomena like ghosts, Bigfoot, and UFOs. And by now, you know that we have our own X blog, the UnX newsletter, and the UnX magazine quarterly. But most of you don't know that we have started our very own paranormal conference. And this year, for safety, this 2-day XCon will be virtual, so you can attend from the comfort of your home. XCon presenters include Whitley Strieber, Micah Hanks, Margie Kay and Preston Dennett, Lisa Martin and Wayne Lawrence, Lee Spiegel, Debbie Zagelmeyer, Dan Terry, Kate Grabowski, and Ray Hernandez. There will also be a live paranormal investigation by the Riverside, Iowa Paranormal Team. So come hang out with us in the safety of home as we set out to explain the unexplained Friday, May 13th and Saturday the 14th, 2022. And tickets are on sale now. Go to unxnetwork.com. That's unxnetwork.com.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Race Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Billy Carson is with us. Tonight, we're talking about the secrets of Egypt. And Billy, I've got a couple of interesting questions that have popped up here. And you brought up the tunnel system underneath south of the Giza Plateau, going south into Saqqara.
Yeah.
And I have this here, and it's stay with me. Mm-hmm. It's right here. Bob Green asked, has Billy looked into the history of the labyrinth of Egypt at the Hawara pyramid complex?
That is a great question. I have, and that is one of the things on the list that I'm going to be doing in a private tour that I'll be setting up when I go back again this year. It'll be after our trip, because I'm also working on a documentary out there in Egypt. So when I return, that is one of the things I'll be doing.
Now, I bring this up because you mentioned that we may be able to see some of these tunnels in this tour in October.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, there's quite a few of them out there. So if you want me to share my screen, I can show you a couple of photos of a photo of one of these incredible sarcophagi inside of a hall.
Yeah. Bring that up and let's pop it in. I'm wondering what you are referring to.
Yeah.
And how much I've heard a lot of chatter lately about these tunnels that go from Giza into Saqqara heading south. There's a lot of open desert. There's a lot of chatter about this lately. Are Egyptologists investigating this? Are they looking into this? And are we going to hear some type of formal announcement about this tunnel system?
Yeah, it's going to start to come out. It's getting more and more popular. And so what's happening is, well, they knew they were there, but the theories about what they could be now are starting to make a lot more sense. So it's really up to see if the Antiquities Board is going to allow a lot of it to be released. But I think now that Hawass is actually gone, I think we have a lot more opportunities to make things pop. So I think a lot of people are going to start talking about it, and the links of this to ancient technologies that could have been in there or are in there, maybe even potentially still down there in certain areas behind secret walls and so forth. And also this area, I believe, eventually is going to get completely exposed for what it really and truly is. It's not a place where you bury bulls, because no bulls have ever been found down here. Okay.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to bring up the image in a second.
Okay.
Could the announcement of the halls of Amenti, right? That it would overtake something like King Tut's tomb.
Yeah.
We're still looking for Alexander the Great. We're still looking for Cleopatra's tomb, Nefertiti. All of that would be overshadowed if the halls of Amenti and this massive underground, I would say, halls, but it would be a virtual city. This would be like the biggest news in the history of the world.
I would be super massive. It would overshadow everything. It would literally be the main, and that's why they probably don't want it to be, known for what it really truly is at this point, because it would literally have everybody in the world flocking to this area to see what in the world is there, and then they'll be digging through ancient texts to find all the correlations.
Right. Okay, let's see. Let's check out this image. Okay, what are we looking at here, Billy?
We're looking at about a 80-ton sarcophagus. Now, this one is one of the most unique ones. It's sitting in one of the halls. So I'm actually in an alcove inside of this area where there are many, many halls in this area. But this is one hall, I call it an alcove, where this 80-ton solid granite box is sitting. And I got inside of it, okay? Now, on the outside, you'll notice that this is a unique one. It has these squares, or these rectangles going all the way around. Each one of those represents a stargate, okay? Even the Egyptologists agree on this. This is something they should actually know. So these are stargates going around this entire sarcophagus. And what's interesting is you see where my hand is on here.
Right.
That is warped granite. But it's
What do you mean? What do you mean warped?
Some energy beam, and there's a wall where if you could draw a line from my hand straight back towards your chest,
right?
There's a wall there, and there's a hole in that wall that matches the shape of this impression on this solid granite sarcophagus.
Well, what kind of heat would warp granite?
That's the thing. Heat can't warp granite. It's something else. Now, the way that this wall is cut out, the circle is cut out of this hole in this this solid rock wall behind me, where you can't see it from this angle. It appears to be like an energy, some form of energy came through, and it struck this granite sarcophagus and warped it in a way where it literally altered the atomic structure of the granite.
Now, what I'm looking at here, I've just enlarged it.
Yeah.
This is an indentation, and it's circular, and it's curved, but the carving, which is on the surface, is still there.
Yes.
Therefore, it was pushed in somehow and misshapen.
Right. Yeah. This is amazing stuff. I'm so happy I'm even touching this thing. Like I'm touching a piece of history where a supernatural or technological event happened right here where I have my hand, and I'm going to take people down there. When we go to Egypt, we're all going to get a chance to take a look at this.
I'm going to get to see this myself.
You're going to touch it yourself, man. Yes, and you're going to get inside of some of these. These are the rejuvenation. I'm leaning on a rejuvenation chamber that was connected to a stargate. Now, some of in the Emerald Tablets, Thoth talks about going into some of these chambers and actually going to other places. So I believe that this one, the reason why it's got the stargates all the way around, it's got 4, 4, 3, and 3. I believe that this one is set up because it actually was one that he would somehow, with whatever device they had, transfer to other locations on the planet.
So you're saying that we will be able to see, not myself personally, not only this, but if I turn around and look in the opposite direction, there's a hole blasted in the wall where some type of beam of energy blasted through the wall and then melted this granite sarcophagus. Am I understanding you correctly?
You're 1,000% correctly. And when you see it, you're gonna gasp. You're gonna gasp because you're gonna know that, wow, something incredible happened in this location. And this sarcophagus is so large, it barely fits in this little hall, this little alcove that it's sitting in. These things, there's only one way to get them there. You can't build them in there because you can't build a solid granite one-piece block, but you have to teleport them. So these were teleported into these halls.
Is this where is this? Is this in the Serapeum?
This is in the Serapeum, underground of Saqqara.
Okay, so I'm picturing this maybe in the back half of it, not in the public half out front.
Yeah, correct.
And you've got some kind of secret access to go back there and see this thing.
Yes, we do.
Wow. Why is that? This is a secret of Egypt right here. Right?
Yeah,
We could do the whole show on just this image.
I know.
Why isn't this public? Why
the implications would destroy religion, it would destroy politics, it would destroy divide and conquer tactics. The implications of this would really rewrite all the history books. We know that, first of all, people were here that were way more advanced than us. We'd have to really truthfully admit it. We know it because of the technology. We can see how they built these things, but we have to truthfully admit it and understand that we haven't even caught up to their level of technology yet. And we'd have to really dig deeper. And people will start asking a lot of questions. Well, where did these people come from? Did they come from Earth? Did they come from another star system? And if you start looking at all the ancient texts and you read the Egyptian Book of the Dead, then all of a sudden you start to realize, wow, well, maybe this text was telling us the truth the whole time.
The teleportation or floating or levitating of these giant, when you're talking about an 80-ton granite box, I not even, people say this all the time, but really, how would we move that today? How would we move it? How is it possible that an inch?
Yeah.
How would we move it?
Yeah.
It's 80 tons and it's big. Now, how did an ancient culture get that box in there? How did they turn the corners?
There's no way, and it's 90-degree turns to get it into these alcoves. They can't make the turn. So they had to have been teleported into these alcoves underground.
What's inside of the box? You said you got inside?
Yeah, they're empty. There's nothing in there. They're deep too. I mean, I'm 6'4", and when I get inside of the box, my head's below the top of the lip of some of these, sarcophagus.
Yeah, you can see how giant it is. That's incredible to me.
Yeah.
That's absolutely incredible. So I'm going to be able to see this myself.
You'll be able to see it if you have enough energy. You can climb up. The priest that guards these, he's going to take care of us. He's a good friend of ours. He'll let us get inside of these. We'll take pictures on top of them. You're going to feel the energy when you get inside of these things. You feel weird. You can tell that something's going on inside of these things. There probably has been some additional piece of technology that was removed, obviously, but these things are super high energy, high energy.
Well, you could just, you can boost me up. You can lift me. I'm getting inside of that thing. There was no hieroglyphics on the inside?
No, the inside is smooth as glass.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is one piece. This is one solid piece.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think people understand. To make this out of one piece of granite, the granite had to be 15, 20 times this size.
Right.
You can't make it like, I'm going to take a piece of granite this size and make it into a sarcophagus. No, it has to be 15 to 20 times the size of this to be able to etch it and create it into this structure that's here. So,
and it's perfect.
Yeah, it is.
It's truly perfect. I've only seen one black granite sarcophagus, and they have it at the Met in New York, and that one's pretty big too.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess 5-6 feet tall, and the lid is there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's got to be 15, 20 feet long. Maybe not that. It's big though, right? Anyway. But this is the trippy thing. The walls of it are a foot and a half thick.
Mm-hmm.
And you walk up to it and you touch it. You feel how cold it is.
Yeah.
You understand the mass of what you are looking at. The lid is 2 foot thick. It's there. But you know what I did, Billy? I knocked on it.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Just to feel the mass and you think to yourself, how is this made? How is this made? How is this possible?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to me. This is an incredible photograph.
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to our trip to Egypt to finally see these magical sites together.
Yeah.
And in my opening statement tonight, this is the mystery of Egypt to me.
Yeah.
Is that when we're dealing with philosophy and art and the beautiful sculptures and how advanced they were, but this was everybody.
Yeah.
This was Egypt.
Yeah.
This is the way that they lived. This is it. And they were able to advance themselves into this beautiful artwork and philosophy and ethics and math and geometry.
Yeah.
This was a culture that was established and deep and that is the mystery of Egypt, because we wonder today, looking at the sarcophagus, and how impressed we are, because we know that was an advanced civilization.
Yes.
That wasn't somebody that was out digging for seeds in the desert sands. It simply wasn't. That is not the case, and it's just impossible. But it is there, and we can see it. It's fascinating to me.
Yeah, man. And we're going to see it, and whoever comes with us is going to have a trip of a lifetime. And one of the things I've learned traveling to some of these ancient sites, sometimes you go back and you can't get into certain things. And so sometimes it's a once in a lifetime opportunity where you could be one of the last people to ever get access to these treasures. But you got to take advantage now.
Now, somebody just posted, you know what? I'm going to show this because it's kind of funny. This is from Ian. Billy, how did they make the box in the dark? Let's take that question one step further. When you look at the Serapeum, or you look at the Valley of the Kings, or the Step Pyramid, for example, how did they do all of that in the dark?
Yeah, well, they didn't do it in the dark.
They did it in the dark.
They had light bulbs. They had light bulbs. If you look at in the temple of Dendera, okay, you have the light bulbs, and the light bulbs are very clear and easy to see. It's not hard to detect, or it's not a mystery as to what they were doing. It's not one of these, is it ambiguous, or we can't figure out what it is. It clearly shows a jed pillar, and we're going to go down there. Whoever goes to Egypt with us is going down into that underground crypt at the temple of Dendera. You're going to go down there, and you're going to get a chance to see these reliefs of technology in ancient times. Now, the reason why you can go to Egypt and you can go into these underground temples and tombs and see all these amazing reliefs of artwork, and you go, how in the world do they do this without torches? Because there would be flames. The flames would actually burn the work. It would create soot. There's no evidence of soot from the actual era when they were working on these things, which means that they had electric lighting. And if you go into the Temple of Dendera, you'll see a light bulb with an electric cable that's connected to a jed pillar. And the jed pillar would collect wireless electricity, which is being generated by the pyramid. And then it was being captured by the obelisk, and literally wireless electricity was being transferred around the region via the crystal granite obelisk, magnetic obelisk, and it would be picked up by the jed pillar and and we know that they had electricity also because of all the electroplated gold we found. So they were electroplating stuff thousands of years ago. So it's not a mystery it's not woo-woo science, and so we're just guessing. No, it's evidence that this is what they did.
Why does everybody fight this? Because if you don't have soot on the ceiling, anybody can go into the Valley of the Kings, go down a half mile, right, just down deep into these tombs of the pharaohs, and look at the painting, the art, the sculpture, the overlays, everything that is done on the ceiling, and it is perfect.
Yeah.
They didn't do that in the dark. And so why do they want to fight this if if there's no evidence of soot and the emissions from an oil lamp? Have you ever burned an oil lamp in your house? And have you ever seen what it does to the ceiling?
Yes,
right?
I have. When I was a kid, we used to have it.
Right. And that happens in like 10 minutes, right? Okay. And you've got to clean the soot off the ceiling. They're down there doing this forever. There would have been nothing but soot all over the walls, and we would see evidence of that. Instead, we have perfectly clean painting.
That's right.
There is no evidence, but everybody wants to fight this. I just don't get it.
Yeah. It's called ego. That's what the problem is. It's called ego. And ego has held mankind back from a lot of amazing discoveries and realities. Ego has been the biggest, one of our biggest downfalls. It's our Achilles tendon. It's our biggest problem is the ego gets in the way. How dare anybody can know this and do this better than us, and we're in our quote unquote modern era. How dare they can possibly cure this and fix that and know how to travel here and there. So our ego is holding us back a lot of the times.
Let's see. You just sent me another image. What have we got here? This is one of my favorites.
Yeah. This is the Temple of Dendera. This is the light bulb, if that's what you have up now.
No, I have the Colossus.
Oh, the Colossi of Memnon. That's where you're at now?
Yep.
Okay. Let me see here. Colossi of Memnon. I'm trying to get to it. How did I send it to you?
You shared it.
Oh, I did? Oh, wow. Okay.
This is live radio, everybody. This is an example of me. See, Billy is actually 145 years old. He rejuvenated the body, but not the mind. You've got to get that technology next, Billy. You've got to rejuvenate the mind. The Colossus, and there's two of them. This is one piece of rock.
One piece. And this picture doesn't do any justice to the true magnificence and the size of this thing. I'm standing far away from, I'm about 150 yards away from it.
It's 6 stories tall.
Yeah.
Stories tall. Somebody just to help me understand, right?
Yeah.
I just don't get, and there's 2 of them. And that's just incredible to me.
Yeah. I believe one is Amenhotep III. Listen, these things are super massive, and they're one piece sitting out in the middle of like nowhere. All right. It's mind boggling how and who and how did they even get this stuff over there to even start? You had to, like I said before, you already know, Jimmy, this thing had to be 15 times the size of what it is.
That's right.
Get it to that size.
That's right.
So multiply that weight by 10, 15 times.
I always picture the discussion that went down 5,000 years ago. Okay, it looks great, but now we got to move it 400 miles. What?
Right. Exactly.
Get your guys together, get some ropes.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in a couple of 100 years. Somehow this got moved.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was some kind of sonic technology. I don't know if Merlin was out there, levitate. I simply don't know. And and here's another thing before we take a break. And I will fight any Egyptologist on this. There is no boat 5,000 years ago big enough to put that in and float it up the Nile.
No, it's not. And they'll tell you, the mainstream archaeologists will tell you, oh, they put these in boats.
They did not.
Get out of here. Come on.
They didn't.
Okay. No.
How big of a boat? First off, Egypt didn't even have any wood, right? So what? They're importing the wood from Jerusalem, right? Okay, but anyway, that's a fact.
Yeah.
But the size of the boat, the tonnage, I don't know what the tonnage is of the Colossus off of the top of my head, but I'm looking at 150 tons of rock there.
Easy.
So the tonnage and displacement of a boat that wouldn't sink to put that in, and you would have to move it onto the boat.
Yeah, get it onto the boat. Number one, the boat would have to be one of those super, what are those super boats that people get on to go on these big cruises? You know, bigger than Carnival. It had to be one of those big, the boats like the ones that go around those ships that go around the whole world.
A freighter, a barge, a giant barge.
Yes.
And I just don't see it. Like I said, what was the conversation? Yeah. Nice carving job. It looks great. It looks just like the Pharaoh's face. Yeah. This is amazing. Yeah. Now we got to move it.
Yeah, without breaking it.
Yeah, without breaking it. And they built two. And so this is my point. This is another secret. This is a mystery of Egypt. They didn't do this because it was hard.
Correct.
They built two because it was easy.
It was easy. It was too easy. It was too easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
What else have you got? What's next?
Let's see what we got here. Let me see if I can find another good shot here.
We could save it for after the break too, as well. I'm just curious as to what you've got coming up next. And okay, let's see. Let me look at the clock. Do I save this for after the break?
Okay.
Okay, tease me. What is this?
I'm inside of one of the channels or tunnels. Shafts really inside of the bent pyramid.
Okay, now we're going to save this for after the break. Is there one of the things that I want to experience is on accident, right? By accident, I just want to wander onto a temple complex and then, you know what I mean? And go, oh, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
This is sacred to me.
Yeah.
Has that happened to you?
Yeah. You get this amazing nostalgic feeling.
Right.
And you almost get this feeling like, man, I feel like I've been here, or I feel like this is part of me. Right. You have this, it's hard to really explain. It's almost surreal.
Right.
And that's why people keep going back over and over again.
Right. And what temple complex did you have that experience?
That was actually, for me, it was the Temple of Dendera was the most amazing experience that I had when I came to like a real wow moment for, I don't know why. We drove about 4 hours through the desert to get to it. And as we're walking up, this whole thing came over me. I don't know what it was, but I started getting goosebumps and feeling weird.
Right.
And as we walk into the temple, man, it was I don't know, the sounds, the acoustics and everything else. It was just mind blowing. And I just got this feeling of nostalgia and like, wow, am I reliving something? This is too weird. This is too real now,
Yeah, and with Dendera, I can't wait to see it for myself. And I understand the light bulb in the chamber underneath.
Yeah.
But what about the ceiling when you first walk in? What kind of experience is that? Because from what I have seen, that's one of the most remarkable places on the entire planet.
Listen, the colors are amazing. The artwork is amazing. When you look up, you see all of the incredible craftsmanship that they put up there. It's almost telling a story. And there's also one area where they had the original, the constellations. What do you call that? The
Zodiac. The original Zodiac.
The original Zodiac.
You know what's funny? I think the French stole it.
Yes, they did. Right? They stole it. They put a copy in there.
Yeah, they cut it out. And it's like at the Louvre now, right? And
what are these people doing?
Yeah, so they kept it and they sent them a duplicate, right?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
We laugh about it. It's messed up, man. It's truly messed up. The oldest Zodiac in the world, in history that we know of, was in the ceiling at Dendera.
Yeah.
And the French just I guess Napoleon walked through there and said, "Ah."
They snatched it and put a replica. They did a good mold. It's a great mold, and they put it back in place. But it's not the original piece that was there. But what's incredible is they found 12 more crypts at Dendera, and nobody's been able to get access to more than 2. But we're going to get access to all of them.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's take our break right here. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Billy Carson is with us. We are talking about the secrets of Egypt all night long. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with Billy when we come back after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and this year, June 18th, 2022, the Disclosure Fest Foundation presents the Mass Meditation Initiative. It's Saturday, June 18th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., one day only at the Los Angeles State Historic Park in downtown Los Angeles, California, right next to Chinatown. I'm hosting the event again this year with music performances by Trevor Hall, The Desert Dwellers, Pour Anki, and many, many more on 4 separate stages. There's 16 stages in total, over 30 acres in downtown Los Angeles, with vendors and tents and presentations and workshops with Billy Carson, Adam Apollo, Lori Spagna, Laura Eisenhower, Brad Olson, David Palmer, and many, many more. It's all simple to do. Just go to disclosurefest.org for all of your tickets, information, and a full schedule of the day's events. Again, disclosurefest.org. Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com. Fadernauts, when you think about the future of our country and where we're headed, do you wonder about the food supply? I do. Disruptions in the food supply chain could be disastrous, and they usually occur with little warning. That's why the smartest thing you can do today is to stockpile emergency food, water, and other essentials. I personally recommend My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, serving millions of customers for more than a decade. In fact, they're the only source my family trusts for our preparedness plan. You should too. Right now, save 20% off a full 4-week supply of delicious meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. Saving 20% helps too, doesn't it? Especially now. So go to preparewithjimmy.com and get ready. That's preparewithjimmy.com. There's no time to lose. Do it now.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. I just loved listening to that track. You saw me just push my headphones a little bit further in so I can get the full Doug Aldrich. Our guest tonight is Billy Carson, and Billy coming to us live from his office there in Florida. And, you know, I actually got to, when Billy wasn't looking, I went and sat in his chair. I got the vibe in Billy's office, man. It's pretty, you know what's really funny? You walk in and I got to see the pictures. I always thought, Bill, I'm going to be straight. I thought that was a virtual background.
Oh, you did? Wow.
Yeah. But no, you walk into Billy's office, man, you get the full experience. Yeah. Now, Billy, you just texted me, and this isn't some pitch tonight for our trip to Egypt. We'll do that later.
Yeah.
But we are going to Egypt in October. And one of the cool things for me, and this is for real, my birthday is October 10th, and we're going to celebrate my birthday at the Temple of Luxor.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't really understand the full scope of how cool this really is going to be. But sorry about that little scratch in my throat. Billy just texted me this during the break. I'm going to hand this off to Billy, but Billy just says, I have 2 Egypt books of the dead with the papyrus of Ani.
Yeah.
And you will give these away to the first 2 people that buy tickets tonight to our trip to Egypt.
That's right.
And now, what do you mean the papyrus of Ani?
Well, the complete Egyptian Book of the Dead includes, if you go into ancient times, a papyrus that was also part of the scripture, which was the papyrus of Ani. And this papyrus of Ani gives all these hieroglyphs, which tells a story, which a lot of that made it into a lot of the mystery school text. And so this actually includes the papyrus of Ani. It's an amazing edition. They're wrapped in plastic, completely fully sealed. I have 2 of them. There's one there and another one here.
Wow.
And these are really really great books and collector's items.
Wait, Billy, I want that. Let's give away one. That's my birthday present, bro.
I got one for you. I have another one, Jimmy. I'll give you one. I got you. Don't worry.
Oh, man.
I have another one on my table out there. It's wrapped in plastic, untouched.
Okay.
No fingerprints on it.
I'm going to hold you to it, man.
Now, what's interesting, a lot of people don't know this, Jimmy, but the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the true original name in ancient times is the Book of Going Forth by Day. That's the original name of this text.
I actually want to talk more about that, but I have something I want to show you.
Yeah, okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Wabap.
Ooh-wee! I love that. Oh, man, that's sick. I'm a watch guy.
Yeah, Billy's got 4 of these. He's got 1 in each color. I have 1.
Wow.
But we'll keep that on the down low.
Yeah.
But Billy knows what I just
whipped out. Sweet. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Wow.
That's one of my favorites. Nice. So, okay. When we talk the mysteries of Egypt, and by the way, wait a minute. No, we teased everybody on this picture. Yeah. I want to get back to the Book of the Dead because that, again, when we talk about the philosophy, the ethics, and what the culture of Egypt was doing 4,500, 5,000 years ago, these concepts to me were real. Yeah. And the Book of the Dead is incredible. So we're going to come back to that. But let's get to this. Let's get to this image.
Yeah.
Oh, holy crap! Now you're 6'4".
Yeah.
This image here gives me claustrophobia.
This is one of the more open areas of the shaft. There's areas where it gets really tight. Down to about 3 feet by 3 feet. And what's interesting is you see at the bottom where my feet are on these they put these steel posts to keep the shafts solid, and from people walking directly on the stone eventually would wear the stone out. So they put these steel beams there, which kind of help you also climb up and down because these shafts are in angles. So you can't really put your knees down. You got to crawl on your toes and your hands up and down. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of strength. So if whoever wants to go deep down into these shafts, I did, I think, almost 1.5 miles total up and back inside the pyramid of Djoser. So it's a lot of crawling.
When we talk about mysteries of Egypt, there are kilometers of shafts.
Yes.
Kilometers.
Yeah.
Kilometers underneath. And have you done all of it?
I've done the Red Pyramid.
I'm talking about in Djoser.
Oh, Djoser. I did the whole thing in Djoser. The whole thing. Yeah.
There's miles. There's miles.
It took so long that they sent a pyramid priest to come look for us. We were down there filming. We took a few breaks because we had to. I ain't gonna lie, it was pretty rough. We took a few breaks. We went all the way to the apex of the pyramid, inside the pyramid, to where a gentleman who was an Egyptologist and grew up there in the pyramids when he was a young kid told me about the area up top where the bent pyramid was bent on purpose. It wasn't by accident of angles, and that it was a gigantic diagnostics machine for people who were injured, and that there's these chambers in there, and the chambers are exactly where he told me they were. Now, keep in mind, he told me this 5 years ago. This pyramid just got opened up, I think last year, for the first time in 18 years. Okay, and so I'm in there, and I see these chambers where water would be full of water, and there's another chamber which would be a resonating chamber, and another area where the sick person would be, or the injured person. And when they gonged this stone, it would create this certain resonance that would create almost like an X-ray image for the physician, I guess, who was at the top level where I went up to, and looking over, you can see what was wrong with the inside of that person's body.
So it's 3 levels high.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. And listen, Jimmy, let me tell you something. There's something that's mind-blowing about this pyramid. Ancient trees are somehow merged into the construction inside the pyramid. The actual
What do you mean? In the rocks?
In the rocks. They use them for some organic way. It's under I'm still trying, maybe you can help. I can't figure out why. What is the purpose of this technologically? Why did they incorporate wooden trees and wooden branches into the concrete or into the building of the structure? But you can only see them from the inside. This is crazy stuff. Mind-blowing.
And are we going to be able to see this on our trip?
Yes, we are. Yes,
now I don't
do a documentary on it.
How do I deal with claustrophobia? Are you claustrophobic?
No. Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah.
What about Elizabeth? I asked Elizabeth, I said, how do you do this and not lose your mind?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not afraid of heights or of claustrophobic or anything. I don't really have a lot of fears, but you're going to be with us, man. So you'll be fine.
I think you're just going to FaceTime from inside. I'll stay outside. You could show me everything. I can't wait to do this. I can't imagine the amount of physical energy it takes to stay in the position that you're in here for the length of these tunnels. But, I guess you got to take a break, and my old knees will just have to put up with it.
Just take time.
I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing, man. Just start, doing a little exercise, going for walks, if you have some light dumbbells, some 15, 20 pound, nothing really heavy, just 15, 20 pound dumbbells, just do some hammer curls and some shoulder presses, right? Sitting down on a chair just like this, some hammer curls, shoulder presses, and maybe some raises, just some flies, just to get, build up a little bit of strength in your arms, because you're going to need your arms.
Are you talking about exercise?
I know, man. I know. I'm trying not to. I don't want to curse at you. I'm trying not to swear at you, but you're gonna have to exercise, okay? Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Now, the Egyptian Book of the Dead.
Yeah.
When we get into this type of concept, it is not. I don't think it's a work of fiction. Right, that this was just made up and this is just a dream, and no, it's not. The Egyptian Book of the Dead, and how it's written, the process to move through was real. This isn't, and the reason why I suggest that, Billy, is they didn't have Netflix, right? No. They didn't have a way to have this suggested to them, right? This isn't, no, it's not. This was a process for them, the Book of the Dead.
Yeah. It was a process to move from one dimension to another. In some ways, even, a lot of the stuff that made it from the Egyptian Book of Dead, written in the Egyptian Book of Dead, were moved into the biblical text, having a record of one's life, what you've done throughout your entire life, and kind of like a book of life, so to speak, or an Akashic record, if you want to talk in more esoteric terms. The weighing of the heart, to see if you were, a good person or a bad person, and all these things. It's just really incredible. A lot of this stuff made it into biblical text, and a lot of philosophy is also in there.
The other part of this, which I've always found really, really fascinating, is moving into another dimension and into another realm and into another world was something that they practiced, and they set up themselves in this world to travel into the next world. Yeah. There wasn't another culture on this planet that was talking in these terms.
No, they really had something unique going on. And I really started analyzing a lot of the stuff they've been talking about with, the process of moving on. And in some ways, I got to tell you, Jimmy, it sounds like they were promised a way to come back in another cloned body, of another cloned version of themselves, which is why they saved all their jewels and their riches and their cats and their housemaids and everything else. Because I'm thinking, man, if you're going to go to a higher dimension, you can't take this material. They can't be that dumb. These people are really intelligent. I'm wondering if they were promised that they would be cloned, including the cats and the maids and the house servants and everything else, and come back in a brand new body or brand new bodies and given kingship again with the riches that they had established. I'm wondering if that has something to do with it.
Well, and another part of this, alchemists today, you have to be in certain circles to hear this information. So I'm not going to just disclose a bunch of crazy stuff right here, but alchemy today in certain circles, they speak about rejuvenation and certain ceremonies that you can go through to achieve immortality, and also to regrow and rejuvenate your body. I'm not going to get into that. I'll talk to anybody about it privately because it's pretty crazy. But it's alchemy, it's chem, and it's exactly the process that Thoth referred to in the Emerald Tablets.
Yes, it is. Exactly. It's incredible stuff, man. There's so much out here that we really haven't spent a lot of energy and time to research and tap into, because we're so stuck with technical physical machines and not trying to understand how the esoteric and the spiritual science can merge with biological material as well as physical machines. There's so much that we can possibly do here if we really stop the division of science and technology, science and spirituality, and bring the two together and then incorporate it with technology. We could probably discover a lot of these things talked about in these ancient tablets are all real.
Now, so much has been written about the Great Pyramid, and a couple of weeks ago, I was going back and watching some documentaries from the 1970s and some television shows, and I got locked into an evening of this. And what I found so remarkable about that is these ideas about what the Great Pyramid did, or what it is, or why it was built, all go against the official. It's a tomb. It's Khafre, right? It's Khufu. These are tombs. We understand. We know. No, there is something else going on here, and this has been going on in alternative circles for a very long time. I don't know, but I know that it's one of the first things that I want to race to when I get to Egypt.
Yeah.
What was the Great Pyramid built for? What was it? Its intended use?
Great question. The Great Pyramid is a multifunctional stone computer. Okay, multifunctional meaning it has not just one purpose, but many functions and many purposes. The first being that I believe it was a wireless power generator, and there's a lot of evidence to support that. Even books written by engineers, like there goes Brian Ramsey, the Giza power plant.
Right. Great book. Great book.
Yes, Christopher Dunn. Shout out to Christopher Dunn, a real engineer who analyzed this thing top to bottom and came up with the understanding that this is a power generating system. And if you look at the way that the Nile used to flow underneath the pyramid when it was much closer, it had an aquifer underneath the Great Pyramid, which would create negative ions, which would then flow up into the actual pyramid structure. And there were resonating rods, which are now missing. And you'll get to see the slots that those resonating rods used to sit in as we go up the grand gallery into the king's chamber. And then inside the king's chamber, it would magnify that energy and then shoot it up through the apex. Now, once the Nile started to dry up and the aquifer started to dry up, they put a stone box inside the king's chamber, which everyone will see, a stone granite box, which is the exact dimensions of the Ark of the Covenant. So that technology used to sit there to help boost that power. And I'll show you evidence of how it worked and the fact that it was an energy source and how there was some type of an energy spike which broke part of that granite box. And you'll see inside the king's chamber, across about 20 feet across the chamber, where a giant chunk of the granite came off and went flying across the room and impacted the magnetized granite on the wall and left an indention there. Hard to do. So an incredible amount of power came out of that stone box at one point.
What was the function of the Queen's Chamber? And it's only the Queen's Chamber by name. There's no evidence that there was ever a queen there, but it's called the Queen's Chamber. But there are the tunnels, the small Gatenbrink, the German researcher, built a robot to go through and videotape and check these out. And they got to Gatenbrink's door, which was a block that was. What was the purpose of that room, which is called the Queen's Chamber? And of course, the tunnels that go out at different angles, the shafts. Yes.
Yeah. So what's interesting about that Queen's Chamber is when they found out that video you're talking about, they discovered that behind that the little wall that there's markings that we use in modern day electrical wiring. And when I really analyzed the Queen's Chamber, I found that water used to flow down there in that area. And if you look at the way the Queen's Chamber was built, it seems to me as if it was connected to the shafts and that the Queen's Chamber itself was most likely a hydrogen filter. It would extract hydrogen from the water. In other words, it would take the hydrogen atoms and use them. What would he use them for? Well, if you look at the shafts on particular time periods are aligned with star systems, right? Orion, Aldebaran, and so forth. I believe that we were using the hydrogen as communication. Now, right now in modern era, where we live right now, we are actually trying to communicate with beings in space. And what we do is we send out communications on the hydrogen frequency because we believe that's the most widely used frequency in the universe.
Right.
And all of a sudden, if you analyze the way that Queen's Chamber is created, it's perfectly suited and set up to extract hydrogen atoms. And then those can be sent out through those shafts when the star alignments happen. And I believe they were sending communications to those star systems because they knew people there. So I believe it was also a communications device.
The image, the video, and I recommend anybody to go and look at the Gatenbrink videos. And I've been checking those out. I think this goes back to 1995. I'm thinking in my mind when I was doing all the research on this. Back then, when the internet was first started, one of the first websites on the internet was a website dedicated to Gatenbrink and that research. And I was able to follow through with as much as I can. And it was done in 2 stages. But here's the point. When they went back and they finally go up and they drilled through Gatenbrink's door, it had a couple of copper pins on one side. Fascinating to see because this is in the middle of the construction of the Great Pyramid. Yeah. And they come up, they drill through, they push a camera through on a tube. They get the camera through, and then, like you said, there was a symbol written on the other side of this block that was impeding the robot, and they named that Gatenbrink's door. Right. Why would they block this shaft, right, for no reason, unless it is what you're saying, that they were using it for hydrogen? That's a really good point. If it's pointing at a star system, why would you block it off?
Exactly.
There has to be a reason for that. That's a very interesting theory, Billy.
Thank you. I've been working on that for a long time.
Gatenbrink's door, anybody should go. If it, this is what's really fascinating is that unless you are heavy into Egyptian research, most people would have never heard of Gatenbrink and the robots and the immense amount of time and research that was sunk into this, but they've let this go. Right. This is something that I just don't think they want people to talk about. Gatenbrink's door, that symbol is there. And how did the symbol get there? You're building this giant pyramid, Billy, right? And you're putting these perfect shafts that are extending out of the Queen's chamber to the exterior of the pyramid. Yep. Why are they there? And then how was it built? And how did the block get there? Who painted the symbol right on the inside of this shaft? It's absolutely remarkable. Lost to history. Nobody talks about this anymore. It's remarkable.
Yeah, it's really it's amazing stuff. It's it makes you ask way more questions. It's like, man, they must have, when they were building this thing, obviously that door was probably already marked before they installed it, but just even the way this whole thing was put together, it's a gigantic puzzle. But I'm just telling you, man, the more we look at the Great Pyramid as a piece of technology, that it's actually like a functioning machine versus just a big stone, fortress or a stone burial chamber. When we look at it as being technology that has a function, a machine that has actual functions, all of a sudden, all the things just come to mind that it could possibly do when you start analyzing the position of the different chambers, the shafts, the door, the alignments with the stars, the fact that it's built on top of an aquifer, and the fact that it still has energy coming out of the apex, even though the apex is not on top. We're at the very, very top. Electricity is still lightly being generated up there. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is. Let's take our break right here. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Billy Carson is with us. And that's right. We are talking about the secrets of Egypt all night long. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, BX.
Are you ready to read about true paranormal events? UNX Media publishes nonfiction books about UFOs, ghosts and haunted places, time anomalies, cryptid creatures, and more. Just like KUNX-DB Radio, it's all about unexplained phenomena. Visit www.unxmedia.com to see our list of great book titles by Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Gene Walker, Devin Listrom, Wayne Lawrence, Bill Spicer, and yours truly, Margie Kay. That's unxmedia.com.
Life Change Tea has a great offer for you right now. The 3-pack special. Save $15 on their popular flavor pack of Super Tea. Get all 3 flavors, original, peppermint, and pomegranate. Life Change Tea tastes great. It's an all-natural, gentle cleanse with a unique blend of 12 herbs that helps keep your digestive tract clean, clear, and healthy. And it's so easy to make. Just brew, steep, refrigerate, and drink. Serve hot or cold. And 1 to 2 servings a day is all you need. You take care of the outside. Do the same for your inside. Life Change Tea is made right here in the United States and helps thousands feel their best. It's an important part of any daily routine. So go to getthetea.com/F2B. That's getthetea.com/F2B. That's getthetea.com/F2B.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from Rivermoon. Just click on the Rivermoon coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B blend.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of Forbidden Knowledge, and we're heading to Egypt this October. Come join Jimmy Church, myself, and the Forbidden Knowledge team as we spend a week exploring Giza, the Great Sphinx, the Great Pyramid, Saqqara, Djoser, Aswan, Edfu, Dendera, Karnak, and we'll celebrate Jimmy's birthday in Luxor. The Forbidden Tour of Egypt is this October 5th through the 12th and includes a 4-day Nile cruise, expert Egyptologists, and a chance to explore Egypt with Jimmy and I as your host through your journey of a lifetime. Space is limited, so make your reservations now. Please visit forbiddenknowledge.com for information and complete itinerary. That's forbiddenknowledge.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and this year, June 18th, 2022, the Disclosure Fest Foundation presents the Mass Meditation Initiative. It's Saturday, June 18th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., one day only at the Los Angeles State Historic Park in downtown Los Angeles, California, right next to Chinatown. I'm hosting the event again this year with music performances by Trevor Hall, The Desert Dwellers, Poran Gi, and many, many more on 4 separate stages. There's 16 stages in total, over 30 acres in downtown Los Angeles, with vendors and tents and presentations and workshops with Billy Carson, Adam Apollo, Lori Spagna, Laura Eisenhower, Brad Olson, David Palmer, and many, many more. It's all simple to do. Just go to disclosurefest.org for all of your tickets, information, and a full schedule of the day's events. Again, disclosurefest.org.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Billy Carson is with us. The Secrets of Egypt all night long. And what a great conversation, Billy. And I not only can I not wait to get to Egypt, but I really want to go and check out what's underneath the paw at the Great Sphinx. Yeah. And the reason why I bring this up, you know, Edgar Cayce, right? It has his thing, writes about it, speaks about it. And for decades, there's nothing underneath the Great Sphinx. There's nothing there. There's no library. There's no secrets of the world. There's nothing there. It's just a paw. There's nothing there. As it turns out, there is something underneath the paw of the Great Sphinx. And ultimately, what do you think is there?
Well, in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, he says that underneath the Great Sphinx, he actually hid his ship. And he said, far in the future, from deep space will come an enemy. And the one who's the smartest or the one who's the most intelligent will free his ship and defeat them with ease. Pretty interesting statement by, ancient text from an ancient person.
Have you been in this chamber yet?
No, you can't go down there. Now, what's interesting is I was doing a post-conference lecture at the Conscious Life Expo. I think it was in 2018. And I was talking about this, what we're talking about right now, underneath the Sphinx's paw. And a gentleman there was actually with the production crew. And I remember this show was getting ready to air about what was underneath the Sphinx's paw. They had the scan data. They had it all ready to go. They were going to do it live on a special edition on, I think it was Discovery Channel.
Right.
And right when it was going to air, I was sitting in front of the TV like this, and it went to a black screen and said, this show has been canceled. And that was it. And the guy who was in that production team was in my post-conference. And he said that they shut it down and didn't want to air it. And then they made us sign gag orders.
Now, it goes 100 feet down that shaft, and it's allegedly the tomb of Osiris.
Are you talking about the Assyrian shaft? I think you're talking about underneath the paw of the Sphinx.
Isn't that where the Assyrian the tomb of Osiris is?
Oh no, I believe that's underneath the Great Pyramid.
Okay, now I'm confused. Okay, but okay,
we're going to go into the Sphinx enclosure.
This is the rumor today.
Yeah.
Okay, and I haven't spoken to Billy about this yet, so let's talk about it now. That this goes down 100 feet, 10 stories underground to the tomb of Osiris. And then there is another shaft that heads out for miles to Saqqara.
Right. That one definitely is there. Yes. Yeah. The Assyrian shaft is located under the causeway of Khafre. And it's about 25 feet deep. But there's another part that you can go into that goes even deeper.
That's right. Okay, so that's in the causeway. I thought that was underneath the paw. This is why I got to get to Egypt, man.
Yeah, man.
I have to get there.
What's incredible is, nobody gets a chance to go into the Sphinx's enclosure and touch the paw and touch the Dream Stella. We will. Private access. So for those of you listening, there's nobody's going to go in there but us. And so we'll go down there and walk around. You'll get a chance Jimmy, to look at that weathering with your own eyes.
Right.
And see with your own eyes and understand, like, hey, wait a minute. This is not 3,000 BC. This thing is ancient. You're gonna see it with your own eyes.
Yeah, and let me ask you about that. When you see Luxor, you see Dendera, right? And if you can see the Edfu, right? And you see some of these temple complexes from the Middle Kingdom, right? Okay. Well, you can see the ages of the stone. Mm-hmm. And then you go around the Giza complex, and you're seeing for your own eyes that the weathering doesn't match everything else that you see in Egypt.
Exactly. It's so clear. It's clear as day. When you look at the Middle Kingdom structures and these other temples that were built much, much later, and we know that the era, we know the exact time they were built. There's great writings in there that are very clear and easy to say this is when this was built and who built it and everything else. So it's not a mystery. But when you go to Giza, all of a sudden all that goes away, and you can tell by the way the construction has been worn, just the weathering alone, that what's there and what you saw at some of these Middle Kingdom temples, it's not even close in age. Not even close.
Now, the research, and I'm okay. Today we have computers, we have software, we can look at the constellations, we can look at the star patterns, and we can back everything up and see where everything aligned. Mm-hmm. Egyptologists and historians could hide those facts from us, but today we all have access to this. Right. And when we line this up today, and the constellation of Leo, the last time that it aligned in front of the Sphinx was 10,500 BC.
Right.
And so right there, now it could be older than that, but just that alignment alone would suggest that it is at least 10,500 years old. And of course, we know that the last time that there was rainfall and a tropical environment on the Giza Plateau was 12,000 years ago, 10,500 BC.
Correct. Yeah. So if you look at even that, you still look, like you say, you're talking about 10, 12,000 years. And if you want to get a little bit more detailed about it, you can literally go back 2 more precessional periods and realign it again and be at 36,000 years. So it's within that range, which in geological timescales is still not that far off.
No, it's not. It's not at all. It's not at all. Okay, what's this next image?
That is my hypothesis that I was talking about earlier for rejuvenation chambers. I'm sorry, for sarcophaguses, which the pharaohs would be mummified, and then hibernation chamber when you're doing space travel. And so my hypothesis is that these beings who, according to the Egyptians, not according to Billy Carson, not according to Jimmy Church, according to the text that they and the etchings they left behind, beings named the Neteru, or we call the Anunnaki, came from space and turned mud into a kingdom. And I believe that these people who taught these people of the land of Chem and Egypt how to do mummification may have been showing them the technique for hibernation, and that they may have promised these people that they would come back at some time in the future, or maybe at some time in the future, technology will be so advanced that they can be recloned and they can gain all their riches that they've hidden inside of their tomb with them and bring back their animals, their loved ones, and everything else, which is why they buried themselves with everything. Just a hypothesis.
Now, I have, I'm going to look for it in the break. Billy's going to stay with us for overtime. I have an image that I took of a sarcophagus, black granite, and I am going to find it, and I will post it up here and share it with everybody. Nice. But when you see something that big, like this sarcophagus here that you're showing, it's ornate, it's huge, and this was done when the rest of the world was wearing animal skins.
Correct.
That's the part that I have a real hard time going with Orthodox academia as they suggest. Well, they got it done.
Yeah,
you can't say it like that.
No,
right?
And they'll try to tell you that they did a lot of these carvings with chicken bones and copper tools.
Yes, they will.
Yeah.
They will absolutely do that. Yeah. I am going to, I've got to go deep back into my images here. But, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is when you stand next to, Billy, a sarcophagus of black granite with carving that is perfect. Yeah. Okay. Now, the perfect carving is impressive. It's black granite.
Yeah.
Done before there wasn't steel. Steel didn't happen yet, right?
How are you going to carve? How are you going to cut it? How are you going to carve it?
Black granite.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't get it. Okay. What's the next image?
Let me see what we got here. We have might as well just that. Let me go here. 1 second. Obviously, here I'm walking through Giza. Just an amazing view. I mean, this is gonna be the walk of a lifetime for you, Jimmy. It's gonna be amazing, man. Here I'm standing in the temple, the front door with the key to the temple of Abu Simbel. In Abu Simbel, this is amazing. This all right behind me. You see all those gigantic megalithic statues of Osiris, and straightened back of me in that dark room back there. That's the Holy of Holies, that gets illuminated on the solstice.
In the new movie, I was talking about this earlier tonight. It's called Death on the Nile, and Agatha Christie. And this is what is mind blowing with this image that you're showing here. There's I want everybody to go watch the movie. It's incredible. But they pull over and walk into and open up those doors, and well, it's a movie, right? The doors are closed. They open it and they walk exactly where you're standing right here in the movie.
I got to check it out. I got to check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. How close to the Nile are you here?
Well, we're pretty close because we're close to the Aswan Dam, actually. So now we're actually not that close anymore. Actually, it's pretty far off.
Well, they had to. How much of it did they move to build the dam?
They moved all of it. So they took it and moved it all the way up the entire cliffside and rebuilt it again. And the thing about this is with our modern technology, they couldn't build it back perfect. So the alignment with the illumination of the gods on the solstice is off by about 5 degrees.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of the best documentaries you can ever see, is watching construction crews from different countries. Everybody got involved, right? To move the entire complex so they could build the dam.
Yeah.
And all they did was drop stuff. Right?
That's all they did. Break stuff, drop stuff. It was a mess, man.
Cutting it apart.
They had to cut everything into pieces because they couldn't figure out how to move it whole.
Watch the documentary, and in a weird way, it's morose. Not in a weird way. They are cutting these faces right into fours, and then attempting to move it, and then putting it back together, and it's never going to be the same. It's an incredible documentary. Okay, what's next? This is great.
Yeah, man. Oh, here I'm inside of the Sphinx enclosure here. I'm right by the paw.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Man.
Okay, so you're walking towards the front?
Yeah, I'm walking towards the front, correct. Yeah.
That's how tall the paw is, the leg?
Yeah, the paw is taller than me.
That's the side of the Sphinx enclosure with the scaffolding.
Yeah,
that's
correct.
the paw there. I was like,
the paw's up front. You can see me watch. It's kind of arched, it's curved. You can see it's reconstructed. It's got repairs done to it.
Right.
It's falling apart from the weathering. Yeah.
Man, that is just mind blowing.
Yeah, man. Incredible. And so
give me another one. This is fun. I didn't expect this tonight. Oh, what is this?
Where am I here? I'm inside of which shaft is this? I might have been inside the Red Pyramid here. I think I'm inside the Red Pyramid shaft. One of the shafts inside the Red Pyramid, I should say. Yeah.
We were talking earlier about oil lamps, right? And illumination. Mm-hmm. And it's one thing, it's incredible enough to imagine an artist, the hieroglyphs would have to be done in stages. You have somebody that's going in and drawing them, and you would have to make sure that it is correct, because once you carve it, you're done, right?
Yep.
So there can't be any mistakes.
Yeah.
That's done. Then they go in and carve it. Mm-hmm. That's another stage. And then they have to go in and paint it.
Yes.
Right. So it's done in 3 different stages.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. You know what's more incredible to me is the guys that carve these shafts.
Tell me about it.
Square, straight, geometrically engineered perfection.
Yeah.
And they had to go in and carve this in the most extreme conditions.
Yeah. Most extreme conditions. And you're talking about, like you said, kilometers of shafts. This is a labyrinth.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay, give me another one.
I'm in the tomb of Nefertari here. One of the most incredible tombs.
Hold on, let me blow this up.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is where?
That is at the Valley of the Queens. We're going to be going there as well. Valley of the Kings and the Valley of the Queens.
Now, we were talking earlier about the ceiling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at that. Those are the stars in the sky. I mean, the work here is impeccable. And this is just a small part of the tomb. The colors, look at those two. I'm standing between two jed pillars. That's technology I'm standing between. You know, this painted technology, but I mean, they represent real pieces of technology that they actually had back then. And those jeds will be connected to electrical devices. And so those are the symbol of power back then was the jed. And if you had a jed pillar inside of an ankh, then you had the key to walk through stargates, and only the elite of the elite had access to those gates.
God, that is just beautiful.
Yeah.
And no soot.
No soot. No soot. Because why? They had electricity.
And somebody scaffolding is lying on their back, right? Carving those stars into the ceiling forever. And they weren't doing that in the dark.
No. I'm talking about that took a while, man. And this tomb is so amazing and so long and luxurious. It must have taken them, I don't know how many years to finish this thing.
Now, is the Valley of the Queens or the Valley of the Kings, is that on our schedule?
Oh, yes. Yes, it is. We're going to go. Yes.
Are we going to go to KB 77?
Oh, yeah. Yes, we are.
What?
Yeah. We're going to go there. We're going to go. It's going to be, this trip is going to be mind-blowing, man. Mind-blowing.
We're going to go to King Tut's tomb?
King Tut's tomb on the list. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Mind-blowing stuff.
Now, I went through the whole schedule. I missed that. I missed that.
Oh, yeah, it's on there. Yeah, it's on there.
I missed that. The Valley of the Kings is on there.
Yeah, it's on there. Yeah. So that's probably all I have for tonight. Yeah, these are.
This stay right there for a second. Don't move that. Look at that dent.
It's crazy, man.
That is just insane. Look at the lid.
Yeah,
the lid. Now, judging from you, and this is further away from you,
right?
This is 6.5 feet tall. You're 6'4",
right?
So that's coming up to the brim of your hat.
Yep.
Now look at the lid. What is that? 3 feet thick?
At least, maybe 4. It's massive. Super massive. Yeah. It's just incredible, man. Mind blowing. It's all of it's mind blowing. You know, it's all mind blowing. How did they get it even in that tight spot? It had to be teleported there. There's no other way.
And there's so many. When I look at the floor plan here, and you look at the tunnel, right, the entrance tunnel, and going back, and then you see the little alcoves that each one of these is sitting in. It doesn't make any sense.
No,
I don't know. Look, I've tried to move a couch into an apartment on the second floor. Right?
Pretty tough.
Right? Yes.
Yeah, tough just to do that, to maneuver around the corners of the staircase and everything. It's tough. You know, you damage the walls and everything else. And these guys, without damaging anything. And what's amazing about this, the Serapeum, I'm going to show you evidence of vitrification when we go through there. In other words, this tunnel, this hall was bored. They were bored out. And in some way, technologically, the rock was then vitrified with heat and sealed. This is amazing technology just to create this underground Serapeum.
Now, you mentioned earlier, Billy, you said that underneath the Sphinx paw, that Thoth has a ship.
Yeah.
What does he mean by that?
He says that he has a ship.
Not a ship on the Nile.
No.
Are you saying like a craft?
A craft. He has a craft underneath the Great Sphinx. And he says, far from deep space, there's going to come an enemy in the future. Far in the future, he says, far in the future, an enemy will come from deep space. And that the person who's intelligent enough to free my ship will defeat them with ease. Yeah.
So, a flying saucer? What are we describing here? I hate to use that word, but is that what you are suggesting?
I don't know if it's a flying saucer, but it's some type of craft. You know, if you read the Emerald Tablets, the opening scene is where him and his friends are landing in the land of Kem. The temples are beneath them, and they descend upon the hairy barbarians from the sky. And then when they open the doors to their ship, they begin to get attacked and so forth, the rest of the story. But so this is obviously, he has technology that somehow flies. He even talks about at one point before he gets to the land of Chem that the ship took off from wherever they were until the planet disappeared, until they got to a place appointed, which was the land of Chem. So they have technology that allows them to fly in space and in the atmosphere. So he's got
whatever this ship was, it's in a chamber, a room of some kind underneath the Great Sphinx.
Right. And there has been scientists that have actually done a scan. They were allowed to do a scan, and they found that there's a whole opening down there about a mile down underneath the Sphinx's paw.
Have you seen, there's a documentary, I'm trying to think who shot it. He's been on the show many times. Okay, I'm not going to waste time trying to remember something I can't. That is in the bird temple on the north side of the Giza complex, north of the Great Pyramid. Mm-hmm. And it's a Tomb of the Birds. And so in the back of the Tomb of the Birds, the access to this was only found from older topographic maps that were done by the British in the 1800s that showed the Tomb of the Birds, but also showed a tunnel underneath that went back towards the Great Pyramid. Now, Zahi Hawass had said for many years, there's nothing underneath the Great Pyramid. There are no tunnels. Well, they kept going back to the Tomb of the Birds. They end up finding the entrance to it in the back of one of these rooms. Yeah. And the documentary is incredible. It is a cave and a tunnel system that goes down from the Tomb of the Birds and then back underneath. It's quite extensive. Yeah. They went as far as they could, and then got shut down. And then, of course, Zahi Hawass went back and shot a documentary later about this tunnel system underneath the Great Pyramid that wasn't supposed to exist.
Right. Yeah. He's like, oh, now I can go do my show on it. Yeah.
That's exactly what he did, actually.
That was, man, I'm so glad he's gone.
Well, again, my claustrophobic self would never do what they did, but there is a tunnel system underneath the Great Pyramid. It does exist. It is real, and it's big.
It's huge. It's massive, and it's extensive. Some areas have had some partial collapses and things like that, but it's an extensive labyrinth.
Let's take our break right here. We will be right back. We're going into overtime with Billy Carson. Tonight, it is all about the secrets of Egypt. Billy, get some more pictures ready. Okay. I want to check those out when we come back. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. What a great show tonight. We will be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is the fastest growing and one of the most watched networks in the world. I would like to personally invite you to check out our expanding library of TV, film, lectures, and special presentations. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv has over 6,000 videos covering lost history, health, UFOs, spirituality, and our future. We are committed to our community, and with my personal invitation, you can, right now, get your free 30-day membership at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Your own library of information starts today at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, the X.
Are you ready to read about true paranormal events? Onyx Media publishes nonfiction books about UFOs, ghosts and haunted places, time anomalies, cryptid creatures, and more. Just like KUNXDB Radio, it's all about unexplained phenomena. Visit www.unxmedia.com to see our list of great book titles by Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Gene Walker, Devin Listrom, Wayne Lawrence, Bill Spicer, and yours truly, Margie Kay. That's unxmedia.com.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today.
This is Billy Carson with ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Forbidden Knowledge TV has just reached its 1-year anniversary. That's right. 1 year. And as a show of appreciation, we are giving all new subscribers a free 30-day trial of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's 30 days to binge watch thousands of movies, documentaries, conferences, workshops, lectures, yoga classes, meditation courses, and so much more. So log on to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv from your computer or mobile device, or get the Forbidden Knowledge TV app on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon, iTunes, or Google Play today, and use coupon code 30 days free. That's coupon code 30 days free on ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JamieChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Billy Carson. And heading into overtime with Billy tonight. And Billy, I want some more images, and I see those popping up, but I want to talk a little bit about the Black Knight satellite, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
The movie is going to premiere in June, and I believe I've got a clip here. Shall I play the clip for everybody? Let's see. I've got, let me go here, and here it is.
This is right in the middle of the Cold War. Everyone is on high alert. And then the United States detects something in orbit. The discovery of an Earth-orbiting satellite. Can you imagine the surprise when both the Americans and the Soviets realized it wasn't either of them?
What I think is the most important thing to understand, are we being watched? Who is watching us? And where are they from? I am Billy Carson, and this is my investigation into the Black Knight satellite.
This is incredible, man. And I've kind of disclosed a little bit in that you came to me with the idea for this movie over 2 years ago now. We've been working on this thing for 2 years.
Yeah.
And everybody needs to check out the movie, but I think that the film kind of evolved in that we started with one idea, which was the facts as we knew it, and the sensation behind the Black Knight satellite. But it evolved in your journey of research with this. What did you ultimately come away from the film learning that you didn't know when you and I first started everything 2 years ago?
I learned that there were a lot more potential esoteric connections to this object, that it had been rumored around the planet by some really serious, deep ancient cultures, maybe even older than the ancient Egyptians. I was hypothesizing it, but after going through this whole process, I really come to really understand it even deeper at a deeper level. And also, after talking to a quantum physicist during the making of this movie, and also an astrophysicist that works directly with the military and the Pentagon and the U.S. Marines, U.S. Navy, I found that, wow, I think there's a real connection here, a real tangible connection. I think we're really, really on to something. I believe that the theory is a lot more sound now. It's not that I didn't believe it was, but it's always great to get a lot of confirmation from multiple voices in different areas of research, all coming kind of, helping you bring that same, understanding of what may have happened, and kind of really confirming my whole theory. So it was really incredible. I mean, I really just was mind blown of the whole process of this, and the whole process really takes you on a journey. It took me on a journey myself, of discovery, which I believe the viewers are going to just love.
One of the things that I learned about the Black Knight satellite, and the ancient connections are great, but the other part of it is when it was initially first discovered, and we're going back to the late 1800s. Back then, there wasn't a lot of government interference into this stuff. And researchers, amateur radio operators, the advent of radar technology, and things were all happening in a very infinite stage, right? And I'm talking about radios, and of course I'm talking about Tesla. And as the technology evolved, suddenly there was a lot of interest in radio and listening and checking things out. Well, what happened quite accidentally was that it was discovered that there was something orbiting our planet. And now this is before von Braun. This is before rockets. This is before the word satellite was even invented. Satellite wasn't a word until Arthur C. Clarke created the word and talked about these things. But we found something orbiting our planet in a polar orbit, which is even more incredible because, and where I'm going with it is this. A polar orbit goes this way, everybody. Okay, it's not east-west, around the equator, which is easy to do, and that's where all of our we have satellites in a polar orbit, but that was a technology that didn't happen until much later. So to have a satellite in a polar orbit before there were satellites is incredible. But here's the interesting part, is that these amateur radio operators started to get signals that were ultimately decoded. Now, all of this is talked about in the film, and you were able to pull up and locate some of the original journalists that wrote about this and discovered this, and all of this is in the film. It's mind-blowing to me, but it was decoded, and in this coded message, star systems start to get mentioned. it's like, wait a minute here. Yeah. And all done before the government had a chance to lock this down.
Yeah. Yep. It's an amazing story, and it's been done by multiple people. So we know that the translations of this decoding is pretty accurate. And what's interesting, it gives the location of that constellation where it was in the sky 13,000 years ago.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is a great documentary, and to have this collection of brain power all brought in with a different take of what actually may be going on here, and it's probably honestly all of the above.
Yeah.
Right. I think that if you know what I'm saying, I don't want to give the film away.
Right.
I think that there's enough information coming in, not only from legitimate sources and our own Air Force and the government, and of course Tesla, and the factual side of things. Yeah. But then when you tie this into some of the other knowledge that we have, suddenly the Black Knight satellite paints a completely different picture.
Yeah, listen, I think people are going to be blown away. They're going to really love it. They're going to get a take on this topic that they haven't seen yet. I mean, there's a lot of cut and paste or people reading, basic information about the Black Knight on YouTube, but we've gone a lot deeper, as you know, into the topic and really dove into it and really dug up some stuff and interviewed some people that have never talked before that had to do with those original articles that came out in 1960. And I think that people are going to really come away from this scratching their head and really asking, man, what is really going on out here? And the implications of this are so broad. It could be earth-shattering. It could change the way a lot of people see reality and see this world and everything else.
Now, I'm just going to tell everybody, Billy and I are being a little evasive right now.
Yeah.
We want you to see the film. Yeah. But so we're filming, and I'm standing in the background, and I'm listening to Billy. I'm like, where did he get this knowledge from? and the questions because I was there I was there for all, and I was so impressed with the amount of research that you have done into this. Not only that part, but it enables you to ask questions. Yeah. So I'm supposed to be the guy that asks questions, right? I'm supposed to be the dude, and I'm standing in the back. I'm like, Billy's got this down. He knows how to get information out of different researchers, and it's incredible. I also felt that we have enough material for 2 or 3 films. Yeah. You can only put so much into a single film. I know. So much of this isn't going to be seen. Is there going to be a part 2 or special features?
We're talking about that. We're talking about how we can make a special feature, a special director's cut. All those kind of. We've been playing around with the ideas. Yeah. I'm telling you, everybody. I just want you to. I'm not trying to make anybody jealous, or I'm not bragging in any way. I'm saying that I stood there for hours listening to what we were taping. Yeah. And there is so much information there, and Billy's research. Billy, I'm telling you, I was very, very impressed. I'm excited for the film. Thank you. Looking forward to it. June 5th at the Imagine Movie Theater in Michigan will be the actual premiere. You'll be there.
I'll be there. Yeah.
Yep. I'll be speaking, and there'll be a few of the other guests that were the researchers in the film will be there. Not all of them, but most of them will be there. And we'll have the red carpet. We'll have on our nice clothes. We'll take a lot of photos with everybody, and watch the documentary, man.
It's so funny. Okay, I'm just gonna say, Billy, just go with me on this. Yeah. Billy and I were so excited about the film, and so originally Billy was the cameraman, Billy was the catering. Billy was the writer. He was the director. He was the sound guy. And we went and we set up, I don't even remember where it was, but we got a hotel somewhere.
Yeah, I know.
And we rented this room. And we went in and shot, and we were so excited. This is going to be the best film ever. Everything that we did, we didn't use.
No,
it's
I came to the realization. I said to myself, I'm doing it good enough that it'll pass. But there's another level.
Right. Well, remember, okay, so hold on. Yeah. So Billy and I, we shoot all this stuff. Look, I'm just going to throw myself under the table. So we shoot all this stuff, and I'm looking at the footage, and my hair on one side is sticking up like this. But Billy and I are trying, and we were so excited, right? And we shot all this stuff, and we shot for hours. And we captured all this great stuff. I don't want to, Billy, we can't use this. We gotta reshoot. And I'm sitting there, and I go, didn't you see my hair, director Steven Spielberg?
I didn't even see it. I didn't listen. That's why I said, you know what? After I started going through all the footage and trying to organize it with an editor, I said, you know what? I can make it. This will go, but there's another level. So that's when I went and hired a real TV producer to come in. I hired a full camera crew with sound.
It's all top notch, man. It's all top notch. But I just think about you and I in that banquet room.
Well, the first time I went to record you at some hotel, when I got the footage back and started taking it over to the editor, we had sound issues.
Oh, really?
The lapel mic was having some kind of feedback was coming in through the lapel mic. I think we were picking up somebody's phone calls or something. It was weird. It was.
I mean, so that's right. We shot. That was probably 6 months apart. You're right about that.
I came to the Christmas party. I came to the Fade or Not Christmas party, and the next day before I came back to Florida, we shot.
We shot it, and then we shot again at LAX in the middle of the pandemic. Oh, you know what's really funny about that? I'm going to tell the audience this. This is incredible. We're shooting in the middle of lockdown.
Yeah.
I mean, no flights, no hotel. Everything is on lockdown.
Yeah.
And so we go to this, I'm not going to say what, but it's a nice hotel, right? So I show up. I am the only person in the hotel.
Yeah.
And I pull up. There's no valet, right? Parking lot's empty. And I walk in. I was like, what? It was like I was like Charlton Heston in the Omega Man. The whole hotel is empty. And so I look over, there was a Starbucks. This, but it's closed, right? It's like closed in the middle of the day. And there's nobody there. I look over at the check-in desk. Nobody working.
No.
They had all the glass things in front, but there's nobody there.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wander through. Finally, I find somebody, and I call you. I go, dude, there's nobody here, man. Where are you? And you said, I couldn't. It was the most eerie thing. And
the plane that I took there only had me and 2 other people on it. I said, I actually didn't know if I was going to take off. I said, I don't think this is going to take off. There's no way they're going to take off with 3 people on the plane, and they actually took off.
I couldn't. It was like the most surreal experience. We had the run of this 20-story hotel. There was nobody there. I didn't see anybody else staying at the hotel.
No,
I didn't. I was literally the only person in this ginormous lobby. There was no employees. There was like nobody there. Wow. It was nuts. I was like, well, I guess I don't need the mask.
No.
But yeah, so we went through all of that, shot that too as well. And the footage, you know what though? You and I shot great stuff, and we said the most amazing things.
Yeah, that's true. Listen, I went all the way to New York, and I did a whole session. I shot with Richard
Goldwyn. Yep.
I had my 4K camera at that time, and shot that stuff. And then that night, I'm at the Marriott there. I lay down, go to sleep, because now I've been up for 16, 17 hours straight. I finally pass out. The next thing I know, there's somebody kicking in the door and dragging me out of my bed. The hotel caught on fire.
What?
Yeah, I was in a fire. The hotel caught on fire, and it was the floor beneath me. I was on the 6th floor. I was on the 5th floor, and everybody had already left. I didn't even hear that alarm or whatever. I was that out. I was only gone for an hour, sleeping for an hour. I didn't even hear the alarm or whatever. So luckily, this fireman wasn't lazy. He didn't say, "Oh, it looks like everybody's gone."
Right.
He checked every single room on that floor until he found that I was still in bed. When I opened my eyes, I saw this big orange thing in front of me. It was his clothing. I couldn't tell what was going on. I thought I was getting abducted by aliens. The guy snatched me out of my bed. Right. And it was like 20 degrees outside, and I still had to stay outside in 20 degrees weather, almost naked for 4 hours. I got frostbite almost. But yeah, they put the fire out. One of the furnaces on the floor beneath me caught on fire. It was their fault, the hotel's fault.
I have not heard this story. I did not know that went down. Everything that we went through to make this film, and I'm just excited. It's going to be great, and it premieres June 5th,
5th, 6 to 9 at the Imagine Imagine Theater in Michigan, just outside of Detroit. And I'm also looking for some other cities where I'm going to do some movie premieres as well. But it also, after that, it'll air on Forbidden Knowledge TV exclusively for at least 6 months. So it's going to be premiering in the theater. Then about 2.5 weeks later, it'll hit Forbidden Knowledge TV.
Like I said, if we go back and think about what we went through,
oh my God,
back then, and we were so excited, you know, and we had the vision, right? This is and but it got done, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited for this, Billy.
Yeah.
Let's as you sent me. I just want to see what this image is. Let me see what this is. Oh, what is this?
Oh, I'm at the Temple of Abu Simbel. Yeah, I'm in Abu Simbel, and so let me see if I can get back to that. What screen that was on, so I can. Okay, so let me see here. Where was I?
Are you going to show us the helicopter?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for right now, actually. So I'm looking up at it from that angle. You can't see from that angle. I just want to show you how high up it was.
Right.
Okay. That's how high up it is. So let me get back over here to.
So what Billy and I are talking about here, it's the three famous. I've always thought it was a boat, like a yacht, and a helicopter, and then something that almost looks like a tank or some kind of military vehicle. There it is, right there.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, so you can see these objects here, which would be the helicopter,
right?
And then you can see what looks like maybe a tank or some type of ship.
Yeah, it kind of looks like one of those Russian oligarch yachts.
Yeah, it does. It really kind of does.
And then that's a flying saucer, man.
Yeah,
that's kind of craft.
Got a tail fin. And here's the story behind this. Now, the homegrown Egyptologists and guides will tell you straight up that no one has ever retouched or re-etched these glyphs. Now, this is the temple of Seti, Abydos is. And so now what's interesting about this, every single glyph in this entire temple was changed to Ramses, I believe, when his father died, except for this one. Now, let me tell you how crucial this was. If you were the person that was in charge of changing these glyphs out to the new ruling pharaoh, and you messed up like this, you would be dead. Somebody would come and fix this immediately, because this would be an insult to the pharaoh that it would even stay there.
Right.
The fact that it stayed there the whole time, it also verifies the fact that it was supposed to be there.
This is the thing with this. One of them kind of looking like something. All right. Okay, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Two, we're starting to push it.
Yeah.
Three modern. I don't think that there's anybody that can't look at this and go, well, that's a helicopter, that's a boat, and that is some kind of flying craft. That is a stabilizer in the back. Could be a flying saucer. It could be whatever. But I can tell you what it's not. It's not ancient hieroglyphics representing something else. That is definitely three examples of modern technology that was around back then for them to see they were using or whatever, and then turn around and carve it into this wall. Exactly. I mean, it's not, you're not going like this with squinty eyes going, yeah, it kind of looks like a helicopter. No,
clear. It's clear as day.
It is. Yes. Incredible.
Yeah. It's not retouched and all this other stuff, all this crazy debunking things. They told us straight up, and they'll tell you the same thing. The mainstream from the Board of Antiquities and Tourism said, tell them this story. So when you go with the big crowds and the big group, with the commercialized group, they're going to tell you the story of, oh, this was an accident. They just accidentally retouched these glyphs and they turned into technology. But when you go,
you know what I heard it was in a documentary.
Yeah.
And it made absolutely no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what they said. They retouched it with plaster and the plaster fell off. Wait, so the plaster fell off and revealed this? Get your story straight, right?
It's too crazy, man. It's just too wild. The stuff they come up with is just, it's ridiculous. Come on.
Billy.
Ridiculous.
Billy, what a great show, man. And thank you so much. I'm going to see you. We're almost in May. I'm going to see you in June. You're going to be out here in Los Angeles for Disclosure Fest. We're going to hang out. We're going to do all of that. What are you going to talk about at Disclosure Fest?
I'm still thinking about it. I'm probably going to talk about something along the lines of, I want people to feel encouraged. I want them to feel inspired. I want them to feel inspired and motivated, because a lot of people are suffering from mental depression right now and separation issues and everything that this whole pandemic brought to everybody.
Right.
So I want to really inspire people. I want to motivate people. I want to give people ideas. I want to give them talk about reconnecting. I want to talk about, how to operate at different frequencies and what those frequencies could do for others and for you. So I really want to kind of get esoteric, I believe, when I come to this one.
Thank you so much, man. We had a great time at the last Disclosure Fest. That was, it was so funny, really hot. And it's a hot day. Everybody's struggling for water. And Billy shows up, 3-piece suit, vest. Walking through, it's 110 degrees. Billy's not even sweating. No. He's just Billy, I love you, man. I'll see you in about 6 weeks right here in Los Angeles. It's going to be another great weekend with you. Behave and be well. Give my best to Elizabeth and the rest of the family, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, man. Love you, bro.
Billy Carson, the absolute very best. And forbiddenknowledge.com for the Egypt tour. Head there. forbiddenknowledge.tv. Go and subscribe. You get your free subscription and you can go and check out everything there. And there you go. Tomorrow night, right here on Fade to Black, Caroline Corey is going to be with us. And it's going to be great. Thursday night is another Fader night with open lines all night long. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Kevin. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR and the Game Changer Network, and this broadcast owned and copyrighted 2022 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night, Caroline Corey right here. Her new film is called A Tear in the Sky. Until then, I want everybody to be safe. It's time to fade to black.